Hello, welcome back to the Ball Knowers podcast. I'm Jack. We're here with Chase Brostek again. Welcome back to the podcast. How you doing, Chase?
Good, good. It's good to be back. Talk some semifinal hoops.
Yes, sir. You've been on twice now for the end of season recap and then the first round recap. This one is a bit earlier than last time. We're not waiting the entire round this time to talk. But doing it about halfway through. Each series is 3 games through so far. Seems like most are probably going to go 6 or 7, I would imagine, which is pretty exciting. So, to you know, not waste too much time, we could just get right into it. Really. Um, let's start off. Which series has been your favorite so far?
That's a good one. Probably the Denver series.
The Denver series.
Yeah.
I mean, unbiasedly, I feel like I'd probably say the same. I mean, maybe there's a bit of bias because my team's in it, but I mean that series has just been the most exciting outside of I think basically at this point all every series has had one blowout game. The Celtics blew out the Knicks in game 3, Cavs blew out the Pacers in game 3, the T-Wolves blew out the Warriors in game 2, and then Thunder blew out the Nuggets in game 2. But outside of that, basically every series, and including this one, has been down to the wire in basically every game. Game 1 had obviously the Aaron Gordon buzzer beater, and then game 3 saw the Nuggets go on a crazy comeback at the end of the fourth and go into overtime and stomp out the Thunder. So currently, Nuggets are up 2-1. They play again today in a couple hours here. Uh, so what have you seen from the series? What are you know, it's 2-1. Or do you think that the Nuggets are gonna close it out? Just talk about the series a bit.
Um, I still think the Thunder are going to win. Um, but what they've shown me so far is not at all what I expected to see from them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Shea has just been probably the player that's disappointed me the most for the entire playoffs. I thought he played really well last year against Dallas, and he just hasn't been the player that I expected to see. Um, and it's not even like he's just not making shots. I feel like he's just not even playing to the strengths of his game. In the fourth quarter against Denver last game, I really thought he just
Mm,
started taking
brutal.
uncharacteristically bad
It
shots.
was brutal, man.
He even said it himself. He just had really bad shot selection in the fourth quarter. He was taking pull up three after pull up three. Our offense was completely stagnant,
Mm,
no ball movement, um, no actions being run. It was just hero ball basketball for the entire quarter, and they were surviving off of J Dub having
yeah.
probably the best playoff game of his career. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
he had 2 points in the fourth, or he had 3 points in the fourth quarter, I believe, and
Mm,
then um, Chet only had 2 points in the second half. Chet also lost Aaron Gordon on that last play of the game.
yeah.
Um, they kind of got
My
stuck
goodness, man.
switching and transition because Shea wanted to take Murray,
Yeah.
and Chet was just kind of aimlessly sitting there in the corner, and Aaron Gordon just floated there, and
It's
I mean they're going to find him every
that's
time.
a thing with this team is a few things that I want to hit on is that this team, I think there's a clear it's really showing in the playoffs how the difference between the way that they won the regular season compared to other teams. They basically got no clutch experience this season outside there's not many games, like probably less than 5 games this entire season that the Thunder actually in the fourth quarter, were having to get a bucket or lose the game type scenarios. For the most part, they were winning games by 20 every night, and so the so many games they weren't even playing their starters in the fourth, and so that really I feel like is hurting them now, where they get to these fourth quarters in the playoffs and they're just like completely lost. You saw it in overtime too. They just did not know what to do at all. They had no game plan. They had clearly zero experience. Um, and then what you were saying about Chet losing Aaron Gordon there, I feel like that's so common with this Thunder team in the last possession of a game. They just like you can't look for your specific matchup when that scenario is happening. Like you just need to get to a man and not let an open shot happen, especially there. Like you're up two, a three's gonna lose you the game, and so like I mean that's on Shea was just kind of like jogging down the court there. Somebody needed to get to Aaron Gordon. I mean he just took a good cut on the court there. Nobody was on his in his lane, but that first game losing that way was horrible, and then losing game three that way. I have the stat here. In the final 30 seconds of the fourth, and this is game three. In the final 30 seconds of the fourth quarter and overtime, the Thunder were outscored 14-2. They scored 2 points in overtime. Like that is just horrible. They like you were saying. I was in Discord and with one of my friends. And I was just like screaming basically over and over again. Like every shot that was being taken was just like mind-boggling because this team has been almost perfect really this entire season. Like there's almost no other way to describe how good they were, and for them to like just completely like throw any remembrance of how good they are out the window and just like Shea was just ISO ball over and over again, like step back midi, step back three pointer. The three pointers were more so in the fourth than overtime, but in overtime he just like refused to get to the basket. He was killing them in like the second, third quarter. Really the third quarter. I think he had like 12 or 13 points, getting to the basket over and over and over and over again. And then in the fourth, he just like step back three, step back midi, overtime, step back midi, refused to go past Christian Brown past the free throw line in ISO over and over and over and over and over again. It was really just, it was infuriating. And then J Dub got two shots in the fourth quarter. I mean, sorry, in overtime. I think he had 16 in the fourth quarter. Two shots in overtime, like it's just terrible. It was a lot of ball watching for the rest of the team. It felt like Mark Dagnall just had no like you said there was no plays ran or anything. There was no structure to the offense whatsoever. Um, and then they were just giving up buckets on the other end. It was that was a brutal way to end that game. It really felt like we were going to win that one. And geez, this Nuggets team, I feel I understand how the Lakers felt. In basically all those Nuggets series over the last few years because I have a stat here of, for the time spent leading in the series. OKC has led 123 minutes and 17 seconds, which is 82.7% of the game. Denver has led for 17 minutes and 22 seconds, which is 11.7% of the game, and or the series, and they've been tied for 8 minutes 21, which is 5.6%. Like you should not be down 2-1 when you're leading 82% of the time. Um, Tonight is or this afternoon is an absolute must win. I feel like we're gonna win the game. I feel decently confident in that. We saw it last year. They go down 2-1 to the Mavericks and in Dallas. Shea has a huge like 40-point game. And they smack the Mavericks and they make it 2-2 and then they obviously drop the next two. But that's kind of what I'm expecting tonight. Or today. That's what you need for from Shea and everybody else because if they lose today, this series is over.
Especially after Shea was smiling after the game like that,
Oh
it
my
kind of
God,
seems
dude.
like,
That was
which
oh my Lord.
I do think things like that get blown kind of out of proportion. Because J Dub was kind of messing around after game one and he bounced back just fine.
Yeah.
So I don't really put too much into stuff like that. But
Mm.
if you're going to go and laugh after playing that horribly down the stretch of the game,
Yeah,
then
like
you
you
better come
cost your
back and
team the
have a
game.
game
Yeah.
in game four. Adelman was kind of talking about, or they were kind of talking about during the broadcast, how Adelman's plan for that game was to just let the game stay close and kind of pull away from the Thunder late, which is something
Mm.
they've done twice now.
Yeah.
Game two was a lot, or sorry, game three was a lot closer from end to end. I don't think anyone ever had a double digit lead until like the overtime period
I believe
of
that's
that
correct,
game.
yes. Yeah, we led by like 6 or 8
Um,
basically all game.
yeah. And so Denver just kind of patiently was waiting. It felt like they were just
Hmm.
kind of patiently waiting for their time to strike the whole game. The Thunder had
Definitely.
so many chances to put them away. They just couldn't do it.
Man,
Um,
to interject there with we had so many chances. Like Caruso blew a wide open layup. There were just
I
so
don't know
many.
how that didn't go in.
That was brutal, man. Oh my.
Ball
And
just
then
danced around the rim.
yeah, like there were so many missed threes. I just saw a stat like right before we started recording. Let me find it because I tweeted it out. 1 second, 1 second. All right, here it was. So this says Lou Dort hasn't made a three since on the road since March 25th at Sacramento, which was 46 days ago. So I went and I looked it up. In 4 away games since then, he's over 16. In 10 home games since then, he's 36 for 76. Like how is that even remotely possible? I know with a 4 game sample size is pretty small, but like he needs to start hitting his shots. He's going 0 for 4, 0 for 6 basically every single game here. It's been brutal. He was not that good in the Grizzlies series shooting wise, and it's just continued into the Nuggets series. Really need him to start hitting down some shots, but like it's not just him. It's Shea has not looked that good outside of game 2, which I do want to touch on a bit. I know like basically all the podcasts and stuff I watch, they just kind of skipped over game 2. Like they didn't really care because it was like what it was expected and whatever. But it was still like as a fan, I definitely want to talk about it a bit. It was such a crazy, exciting game. And maybe not exciting, but like just exciting in the sense that the Thunder were so just perfect. Really, is the best way. They were unstoppable. A few stats from that game. So they won 149 to 106. They were the first team to have two 40 plus point wins in one postseason. They had the one win against the Grizzlies as well. Shea was a plus 51, which is the highest in a playoff game since 1998. He was 11 for 13, and the team went 56, 44, 91. Had a 31 to 9 assist turnover ratio, and the Nuggets had an 18 to 20 assist turnover ratio. So like I mean that's just the way that they're gonna have to win these games. The Nuggets turnovers have been pretty high all 3 games, but they need to just keep turning the ball over. Caruso was awesome in that game. Shea was fantastic, like I said. I mean he was super efficient. He was just dominant on both sides of the ball consistently all game long. Chet was getting blocks. Um, I don't know. I'm just hoping that they can have that kind of performance again today because like the net rating so far in the series is 27 for the Thunder and like 5 or something for I think it's 7 now for the Nuggets. But like that's just not gonna. You could win by 300 points or win by half a point. Like it doesn't matter. It's a win, and that's kind of the benefit for the Nuggets right now, where they can just like you said keep the game close. That's their strategy. Just don't let them get 15, 10 points ahead of us, and we can 100% like we trust ourselves to be able to close this set down down in the stretch. And the Thunder are just like they're clearly not that good at closing yet. Whether it's gonna solve itself out this offseason or this postseason, or maybe it's a problem going into for next year. Like they cannot have these close games, at least against the Nuggets, because they're way too experienced. This core has been together for way too long. Maybe if they're playing like a Timberwolves team, I could see them surviving those scenarios. But like even against the Warriors, if we're playing the Warriors next series and Curry's back, like I wouldn't be surprised if this same exact scenario happens again, where Curry, has his signature fourth quarter three threes in the final 2 minutes type scenarios.
Um, I pointed out how Shea has been probably the most disappointing player for me this playoffs.
Yeah,
Jokic also hasn't been very good. It
very true.
feels like he's been super inefficient, especially this series. He's like
Hmm.
had two genuinely horrible games. Um,
Yeah.
just Jokic 2 years ago when the Nuggets made their run, won the finals.
Hmm.
I feel like Jokic didn't have a bad game the whole playoffs, and
Yeah,
he was putting
he
up
was
some of
just
the
one of the best
craziest
players of
stat
all
lines.
time.
Yeah, and this playoffs, like if you saw Jokic's box score and saw that he shot, I forget what it was. I think it was like 6 for 22 for the field, or like 8 for something from the field.
Hmm.
Horrible, and he shot like 0 for 11 from three with 8 turnovers. You would be like, "There's no way in hell that the Nuggets won this game."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he shot eight for
but
in game 3, 8 for 25. He was 0 for 10 from three.
for 10 from 3, that's what it was. I do want to shout out Michael Porter Jr. He had a great game 3. I feel like he's been impactful all series.
Outside of game
And
one.
a lot, yeah, oh yeah, a lot of players after what happened to him in the Clippers series, where he's getting benched in the fourth quarter and he
Hmm.
has a shoulder injury where he can't lift one of his arms above his head. Uh, it probably would be a lot of a mental load to be
Hmm.
able to bounce back and have a game like that in the playoffs, but
Yeah.
um, he was playing really well. He was diving on the floor for loose balls. He shot 6 for 7 from three.
Yeah,
Um,
that some of those like
Offensive rebounds.
him getting like diving at those balls and stuff. I was getting worried because that's how he got hurt. He dove for the ball and somebody else also went for the ball
Mhm.
and like kind of like landed on his arm in a way
It's
that
Chris
just
Dunn, I think.
yeah, it was Chris Dunn, yeah, and he landed on his arm where he kind of just like I don't know what it did to his shoulder, but it messed it up. Um, but like that shows a lot of heart. It was I know like a lot of people were
Yeah.
saying the when Chet came back from his hip injury, and I think like the first game back he had like 3 blocks or something, and he was instantly like jumping for the same balls that got him hurt, where he blocked it and he like fell straight to the ground, and people were saying like how impressive that is that like coming straight off an injury, you're able to just keep making the same plays that got you hurt, and like you're not that mental block's not there, and that's what I'm seeing 100% out of MPJ here. He was huge in that game three, and they had 4 guys score 20 points, and he was like one of the first guys to get there. He was pretty dominant, especially in that first half, like keeping them afloat when Jokic was kind of just sucking offensively for the most part. Um, yeah, he's come up huge for them here, and I mean their MVP so far this series is 100% Aaron Gordon. He's just
Oh
been
yeah.
like his his ability to shoot the three this season has been so insane. He's been I think like a career 36% maybe at the best. And this year I think he shot 43% from three. From all the reports that were people were saying like this postseason and during the regular season, apparently he built a home gym, like a whole basketball court in his house this offseason, and then he
Yep.
just worked on his 3 point shot religiously. And so like him going from a basically like a bad 3 point shooter where last year every time he touched the ball it felt like or every time he was going to shoot a three it was like the most hesitant like dribble up and like slowly like am I sure I'm going to take this type shot. People are leaving him wide open, like not even within 10 feet wide open, and now he just like catches the ball and without a hesitant, without like anything, he just like knows that he wants that shot. He knows it's a good shot for him. He can make any shot from like anywhere around the three. It's really impressive how much he's improved his 3 point shooting, and like that tells me like other players could do the same too if they just put in the work. Like when guys are bad free throw shooters, it's just like just how are you a bad free throw shooter? And it's kind of the same thing with like this makes me feel like if you're a bad 3 point shooter, you can fix that if you just put in the hours and the shots to get your 3 point shot better, like fix your jumper or whatever it is. He's been awesome. Just like on everywhere, defense, offense, like rebounding. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, some of the threes he's taking aren't even catch and shoot threes. He had
Hmm.
three. I forget. I think it was in the second half. I forget if it was the fourth quarter, or the third quarter. He had a three where he was just sitting behind a screen from Jokic, and he just kind of was dribbling back and forth and just took a pull up
Hmm.
three off of a screen.
That's like my
I
favorite
did.
shot in
They were
pickup.
talking about. They were talking about during the broadcast. I didn't realize his brother had passed away last year,
Yeah,
which I think kind of explains like the next level of play. I feel like he's dedicated this season to that.
he changed his jersey number
Um,
for him, like he in honor of him.
mhm. I never even noticed that his jersey number was different. I was just watching him without
Yeah,
noticing it, I
he
guess.
was like number 50 before, I think. It's like nasty.
He
I mean,
was,
it was
yeah.
very
I
fitting
like,
for him. I felt like he just felt like
yeah,
50 worked for him.
it worked, and I never noticed it was 32. And then they were talking about that on the broadcast. I was like, wow, I can't believe I haven't heard this story. But um, I think he's honored him very well with the way he's played this season. He's
Hmm.
played easily the best basketball of his career. I know he said in October that he wants to play his best to get Russell Westbrook a ring, and
Hmm.
he's lived up to every word of that. Um,
And I think like
he's definitely been their best player.
if they beat the Thunder, there's a really good chance the Nuggets could win the finals. Like there's
I think I would pick them to win it all if they win. Who I think whoever wins this series is. I mean, it'd be tough to beat the Cavs
yeah,
or the Celtics, assuming either of them even get through. But
mhm. I
they
didn't
like
write
no
my
team has really looked that good
for sure.
or as good as the Nuggets.
Yeah, and like even like the Cavs or Celtics, like they're both down 2-1 right now, and they both looked really good in
Mhm.
their game threes. But like if they lose game four, they both might lose the series. Like not even might, they at least
Yeah.
one of them will lose that series, probably both. Um, so like if you're getting Pacers Nuggets or Knicks Nuggets or even Boston Nuggets, like if Boston shoots 5 for 30 from three in a game, like they're gonna lose, and that can happen in any game, and it's probably better than a 50% chance it does. Uh, but yeah, we can move on from that. Let's see where we're at. All right. Trying to think. Anything else from this series that I really wanted to point out? Jokic in game one. I wanted to mention 40 and 20, 42, 22,
Yeah.
6 assists, 3 stocks. Like he just had a great game. He was the difference between that game and game two, and even game three as well. Like was very interesting to see. When he had that game one, my first thought was just like, oh damn, he's gonna have a legacy series here, and like it's just because I knew he was gonna have a good series, but like that made me really scared. And then game two, like Chet was big bodying him a lot. He was not just entering the paint over and over again like he was in game one. He was not just able to like sit on the low block and pick up every rebound and every putback shot he wanted. And then same thing happened in game three where, and this was infuriating me. Playing iHeart so late into the game, he was just awful in the fourth quarter in the clutch. Um, and like Jokic would get the ball, and he would literally. I said it to my roommate. Uh, like this was the best way to explain it was that in 2K when like Shaq is guarding like Jackson Hayes or something, and he just like shoulders him, and the guy like Jackson Hayes just goes flying 5 feet, and he just like keeps backing him down. Like that is what Jokic was doing to
Yeah.
Isaiah Hartenstein. Like from almost the 3 point line all the way into the paint, he was just like shoving him, and he would move back like 3 feet every time. And then Chet would guard him, and it would like stonewall him, which was crazy because weighs way less, he's way skinny or whatever. Um, but yeah, iHeart was just terrible. And then in the fourth quarter, obviously the three push like little bunny shots he does that he just airballed all three. That was horrible too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
It's
all
like
on
his
him, but like it really. I was just I tweeted like 5 times I think in the fourth quarter and overtime alone, saying like just get him out of the game because he was completely unplayable at that point.
his push shot. They were talking about this during the broadcast. He makes 82% of them. It's probably one of the most efficient shots
Yeah, it's
in
one of the
the
best
entire league.
like signature shots for sure. But like he can only do it from inside the paint. Like he's not good at anywhere else. Really, I feel.
Yeah, you could tell from the first two possessions of overtime. You're like, oh, wow, the Thunder already lost because they
Oh,
allowed a
no doubt.
bucket right away, and then iHeart airballed immediately. I think it was the very next possession
Yeah.
that he airballed that push shot.
hmm
And my roommate is a Thunder fan, and I was watching the game with him, and he had been standing up the whole game, and after iHeart airballed the shot, he sat down. He was like, we lost, and
Yeah.
they just had nothing going from there. But I do want to say,
hmm
these are probably the two best playoff environments. You could maybe say the Cavs, but I feel like the Cavs.
I think I would
I
say
feel like the
I
Cavs.
think I'd say Indy, dude. Theirs is crazy.
The Cavs stadium gets muted on TNT. I think like every time there's a crowd pop, you can hear them suppressing the noise in the
Yeah.
stadium. But like, dude, the Nuggets and the Thunder stadiums are just so
Mm.
loud.
Yeah.
Um, like, like every single time the Nuggets make a big play, the crowd explodes.
Yeah.
So
And OKC, they call them
I
Loud
think
City.
I knew this would be a hard. I knew that Denver would be a hard place to play because of the altitude and the
hmm
fans, and it's proven to be through Game Three. So I'm interested to see what happens today and how the Thunder respond. But we can move on to
Yeah.
another series.
Just the last thing I want to say is from game one, Caruso had 26 assists and 7 stocks, 5 threes. Like, I think he had 5 steals. He was just awesome in that game. He was like Caruso was just super awesome. I want him to close the games more. He was a -5 in like 1 minute last night in overtime, but I don't think it was really on him as much as it was just like guys not making shots. I would prefer for that he closes here on out though. We can move on
I'd
though.
rather see him play than Dort. Yeah.
Yeah, Dort or iHeart, either one. Dort's just not been good shooting wise. But we can move on. That's oh, I guess to close it out. Who do you have? So you still think Thunder win this series?
I still think the Thunder win it. I had them in six. I think it'd
hmm
be
Yeah, I
kind of
had Thunder in
nasty to say
5.
they're going to win three straight. I would say it's probably nasty for me to say they're still going to win in six. They're probably
hmm
not going to win three straight.
Yeah,
I'll probably say Thunder in seven.
I like. my heart wants to say Thunder in seven because like I want to root for them to win it, but like I think we win today and then maybe get one more, but I don't feel that confident in them. Where like I think I'll take Thunder in seven, like from my fandom, but I really don't feel confident in it at all. Like I would not put money on down on that at all. Um,
I think they're going to surprise us.
Hopefully. And the last thing, Peyton Watson has been pretty good so far, but we can move on. Which series you want to go to next? We could let's talk Celtics next because I
Just
want.
finish off the wet.
Oh,
Oh,
you want to?
okay.
No,
Okay.
no. We can do the West. We
Oh, we
finish
could
off the
go.
West. No, we'll finish off the West. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So the second West series is six seed T Wolves up 2-1 against the seven seed Warriors. This is probably like the least exciting series in my opinion. Like it that was the case going into it, but also the case that like Steph got hurt in game one, and the Warriors are just like so clearly not that good without him. Jimmy is like fine, like he's a good player still, but he's not a number one option on a second round of the playoffs type team. And outside of him, like Brandon Podziemski or Draymond cannot be your second best. Buddy Hield cannot be your second best player. And that's like it's just their offense is pretty nasty at times. Not even at times, like almost always their offense has been pretty disgusting. Outside of like end of the shot clock 3 pointers from Buddy Hield and stuff, or like the wide open Draymond threes, they have not generated many good looks. Um, but they picked up a big win in game one. They won 99-88. Steph was awesome. He only played 13 minutes, but he had 13 points and was like just dominating. It looked like he was really gonna have a fantastic series if he had stayed. So that was really unfortunate to see him go. They're saying at least a week. So like we'll see if he can come back for game six. I really don't even think he's gonna come back this series, and likely this season because they lose this series without him.
I think he's out till game six, right? No
Yeah,
matter what.
they're saying they're gonna like reevaluate him in a week, which is game six. But like a hamstring injury, how often?
Hamstring's
Like
not something
yeah,
you
like
want to
that's
mess
not
with.
some yeah, it's not something that you get reevaluated and they're just like throw you right back in. Especially somebody like Steph who's 37 and like his whole game is running off screens, just nonstop movement, stuff like that. Like he needs to be 100%.
Yeah, this series is kind of lame because of the Curry injury.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Warriors were, based on how they were playing with Curry in the lineup, they just looked like a way better team. The Timberwolves
No
also
doubt.
just came out completely flat in
Yeah,
game
their
one.
game one was awful. I mean, they lost. Steph got hurt in I think it was the second quarter, and they still ended up losing the game by 11 just because they could never get it
And
going at
it was like
all.
never close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
they
so
just
interesting
they never hit shots.
in Minnesota. Like
And for
that was pretty shocking.
for a team that was a top three, I think they were top three in 3-point percentage during the regular season.
Hmm.
Teams loaded with shooters.
Ant made the
Anthony
most threes in the
Edwards is
league.
also a little banged up. Anthony Edwards is also just a little banged up though. He got his I think it was his ankle
Hmm.
got rolled up in game two.
You saw the
Um,
play right where uh
I saw a clip of it. Yeah,
yeah TJD so Ant like went up for a layup or something. I don't remember exactly how it happened. I just remember that he like when he fell to the ground, TJD came down and like his one foot like landed before the other, and that foot just like this is Ant's ankle. His foot just like landed straight on it. That was it looked like it hurt so bad. He was like instantly grabbing at it. Looked like he was in like crazy pain, and then like he barely is able to walk to the locker room, and then he comes out in the second half and it's just like so perfectly fine, like sprinting up and down the court, dunking, like getting steals, whatever it is. Like he was just like completely fine. It made no sense at all. This is the second time this playoffs where it looks like he had like a season-ending, career-altering injury and ended up being fine within minutes. Ant is actually like I'm convinced he's Wolverine or like superhuman in some way because he just like can't get hurt.
uh, and he played really well in game three.
Hmm.
The Warriors. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think the Warriors are gonna win another game.
I agree. I don't.
Um,
This game three was their best chance.
Kuminga, Kuminga and Butler both dropped. Kuminga dropped 30 in the playoffs at
Oh my
home, and they
goodness,
still
man.
lost. Like, dude, if Jonathan Kuminga's shooting 4 for 6 from three and you lose at home, it's so over. Like, there's just I am,
Yeah,
like
no doubt
maybe
about it.
he just goes. Maybe Jonathan Kuminga just has a fake run, but
Hmm.
Julius Randle's already having one of
Man,
those of his own, or maybe he's just him.
I,
I don't know
I
what's
don't think
going on
it's
anymore.
fake from Randall. I really don't, man. He's just been
Julius
awesome.
Randle has just had a triple double. He just had a 24-point triple double, and he
Hmm.
almost had another 24-point triple double in game two,
Yep.
and he had 20 in game. He almost had 20 points in game one.
Hmm.
Uh, is just honestly hilarious because like that first podcast before the playoffs, we ripped Julius Randle on probably 5 or 6 different occasions for just being the worst basketball player ever,
Yeah, I mean
and
he was mid at times this regular
and
season, and like in his career, he's been a terrible postseason player.
yeah, there was no reason to believe that any of this was going to happen,
No
but
doubt. Yeah.
it continues to happen. So at this point, the sample's gotten to the point where he's now doing this to a good defense.
Hmm.
I think he's just good.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, to his like to I guess not his defense, but to the defense of him not actually being this good, I guess, which I don't fully believe. Like, I really do think that he's just like he's in a great situation right now where he doesn't have to be the number one option, and at times he doesn't even have to be the number two option. Like when just like Nas Reed or somebody else can step up and hit a couple big shots. Um, he's facilitated so well. Like he's passing the ball just fantastically. I saw. Let me find the stat somewhere in here. He's got 23 assists in the last two games, which is the most in any two-game span in Timberwolves playoff history. That's insanity
really?
from Julius
The
Randle.
Timberwolves have a lot of weird records.
Yeah, but like the second he's got the most assists in a two-game playoff span in Timberwolves history. Julius Randle. That is insane. Like I feel like he's the type of guy who used to get like three assists, and you would think that would be like a good passing game for him. And
Yeah.
like it's just that he's really impressed me just on every level. He's been a great defender. He's been an elite shot maker. He's hitting his threes. He's hitting his mid ranges. He's not like he's using his size well too. I feel like he's at times when I think it was game three or game two. I'm blanking on it now. Where I think it was game three. His shot stopped falling a bit, and so instead of like settling and just keep shooting threes and keep like digging himself deeper and deeper in that hole, which old Julius Randle probably would have, he started to like go into the paint and drive to the mid range, get to his spots more and more, and then he just had an elite second half. But like he's really shown me a lot of growth in this postseason so far. Like he's really he's played smart basketball, which a lot of times you cannot say for him. And he's definitely impressed me a lot.
He's been a guy. I was looking through his career numbers. He's averaged 5, even 6 assists before in his career during the regular season.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. When I said two or three, I didn't mean
but-
like that's what was his averages. I just meant like he wasn't always
just
like
like single games.
yeah. I should have been more
Yeah.
specific there, but like yeah, he's not known to be a passer at all.
His first playoffs, he averaged more turnovers than assists per game. He was averaging
I
almost
remember
five
that.
turnovers per game, and
Yeah,
now he's averaging over 6 assists with under 3 turnovers a game.
so
So
impressive, man.
he's just a
He's
lot
just
more
awesome
efficient.
everywhere.
Yeah, he's been really good, and because of how he's playing, and because Curry's out, I think the Timberwolves are going to win this series in
Hmm.
5.
Um,
And even
yeah,
if they don't win it in 5, Curry probably won't be 100%, even if he comes back.
yeah.
I do think if Curry was healthy, the Warriors would have won the series. Um,
I do believe that. I think. I mean, to be fair, like that game one, the T Wolves, they that game five in the Lakers series, they go 7 for 47 from three, the worst 3-point shooting percentage in a win in playoff history. Um, and then in game in game one, they shot 5 for 29. Like they just completely continued it, and that's why they lost that first game. Um, like they just could not get it going at all. Ant had 23 and 14 on 9 for 22. Like the team just like nobody was shooting well in that game at all. But obviously game two, game three, like we said, Julius Randle 10 for 23. Ant had 36 and five threes. Jaden McDaniels had like two of like he had the he had the 1 3 in the third, which took the lead, and then he had the three in the fourth, which like extended the lead with like 2 minutes left. And I have it written down here too somewhere. Oh shoot, where was it? Um, I don't remember, but they had a they had a run. It was like 8 minutes left until like 8.5 minutes until like 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, where they went. ah, Shoot, I can't remember. It was like geez, I can't find. Oh, here it is. Wait, nope. Uh, yeah, I can't find it. Well, I'll look it up again. I'll find it. But what else did you from that series? Like, who else from the series has impressed you?
Um,
What about dude? All right, I want to mention this. Draymond three-pointing shooting this season, this series has been pretty impressive. Like I felt like last series was awful. I don't remember the exact numbers he had. I think he had it was like 4 or 6 makes on near 30 attempts, and then this series he had game three he went 4 for 10, wasn't it? Like he's been knocking down his shots and needed so very much so right now.
Game three, he was. Where is he? Game three, he only shot
Oh,
one three.
not
Game
game three. Yes,
two,
it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
game
it
two,
was
one
game
for
one. My bad, my
six.
bad.
Game
All
one,
right,
I know game one he shot really
yeah.
well.
All right, I'm finding the
Four
stat.
for 10, yeah. It was game one. But
All
I
right, here it is.
saw,
Here it is. Here it is. They went on an 18-6 run with 8:34 left to 2:05 left. That's like they just closed out this fourth quarter. They closed out the game so well. It was really the second half. The Timberwolves closed out the game three super well. The Warriors were up two at half. Oh, now I can find the stat in my notes. Jeez. Um, yeah, but like so the Warriors led at two, but led by two at half, and then the T-Wolves just went on a great run in that second half. They just started hitting their shots more. They were taking better shots. They weren't really spamming threes much, and they really locked up on the Warriors a lot. They the Warriors' hot shot making, besides Buddy Hield really turning it on in that second half. I know he opened up the half with like a 35-foot three, and he had a few in the fourth quarter as well. But like Jimmy started to cool down in that second half a bit more too. Um, Timberwolves they're just a better team right now. Like with no Steph, there's honestly not much to talk about. The All right, one thing I
yeah.
have not mentioned here that is like screaming at me in my notes. Steve Kerr's rotations. We've This is now like maybe the sixth time we've talked about it. Why in the world is he putting Kevin Knox into the game in the second quarter to play like actual legitimate real minutes and not just like he put in I think it was game three. He put in Braxton Key with like the 6 seconds left in the second quarter, which that was obviously insane. But like he's putting Kevin Knox in with like 5 minutes left in the second quarter and letting him play out the rest of the half. Like, what are you doing? Kevin Knox is so unbelievably garbage. Like when he was on that 27 loss in a row Pistons team, I thought he was never going to play in the NBA again. And like he's playing in the playoffs in legitimate minutes, and he's not making shots. He's not defending. He's not like he can't do anything well. Why is he playing in the playoffs? My goodness.
Steve, Steve Kerr, when Curry isn't able to play,
Hmm.
just starts throwing shit at the wall and seeing what's
Yeah.
going to stick. And the only issue with that approach is that he has no talent on his bench pretty much at all.
Yeah.
Like he'll start going deep into the bench. Like back in 2021, they would throw Brad Wanamaker on the court for extended
I
stretches of
remember that.
time.
Yep.
Like what was it, Lester Quinones? Is that his name?
Yeah,
Or
Lester Quinones, I think.
Lester Quinones, he would play extended stretches. This, I think, last season he was playing
Hmm.
extended stretches of time.
Yep.
Steve Kerr, once you're on the roster, there's potential for you to play.
There's no better
Doesn't matter
roster
if you're on a
if
two-way
you're the
contract or
13th
not.
man. There's no better roster to be on.
Oh yeah, no, he has a 15-man rotation all the way into the conference finals.
He's gonna be in the
It's
finals playing
just,
Kevin Knox. Jesus.
and that's the thing is they still win when they have Curry,
Hmm.
but you just you can't win the series without Curry. There's
Yeah.
just no way. I said that before the series about Steve Kerr. He's kind of the X factor, which is it's kind of a pointless
No, but
argument now
it
because
makes
they just have no chance to
yeah.
win no matter what. But
But like the point made sense
what were
because
you saying?
what he was gonna do with his rotations was gonna majorly determine who won this series. Like how much he played Kaminga was going to be a huge deterrent. Obviously, like they went to 7 when they probably could have won that series in 6 had they played Kaminga more. And I know that maybe sounds crazy because I don't even think Kaminga's that good, but it's just like he just offers them something on offense that they just don't have, like a lengthy wing, and also on defense too. Their wings are not that lengthy and they're not that good at defense, and they had the decent shot makers already, but like Kaminga can just like change the pace a little bit more for them and offer them something that the other guys like Buddy Hield or like Moses Moody, who also should not see the court at all. He's been just abysmal this series. Like he has had that. It was game 2 when they got blown out. Just every shot he took, it felt like was just like worse than the last. He was, shooting to the right of the rim, like straight off the backboard. He had a shot on the left wing, I think, and it went completely over the rim and just airballed it. I think he had like 2 airballs that game. He had multiple off the backboard threes. Like he was just missing the rim fully over and over again, and it was like different spots each time. He was just so off of his game. The other thing I wanted to mention in this game 3, they made 0 threes at halftime and still led. I think it was 52-50. Um, the broadcast said that that was the first time since 2020 that they did not hit a 3 in the first half under Steve Kerr. So it's just showing how like big of a how much they're missing Curry really, because they like their ability to generate offense. Like it's kind of praying Jimmy can hit a big 3 or some big midi over and over again and stuff. And I mean he got to the line. It felt like a billion times in that game 3. That's really what they're gonna need over and over and over again for him to get. I mean, game 4, if they lose it, obviously the series is over, and you could say that for all the series, but like this one in particular really is that case.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I think the Warriors' future after Curry and Jimmy is like so incredibly cooked.
Hmm.
I really liked. I thought they had a really bad draft in 2020 when they took Wiseman at 2, and then I thought they actually bounced back really well in 2021 when they picked Moody and Kuminga. I was like, oh, this is a slam dunk draft. I like both of these
Yeah, I
guys.
like both those picks
They're,
at the
they're
time.
both they're both ass. Um, I, I just like I used to love Moses Moody. I was so confident he
Dude,
was going to develop
yeah,
into a good starting caliber player.
yes. I was like, I never
Um,
understood why he wasn't playing that much because I thought he was going to be really good.
I, I
Same with Kaminga.
I was
Jeez.
Steve Kerr. I was always like, why is he not in the game? I
Hmm.
thought he should have been playing over Clay, which looking back, that's a horrible take. But
I
um,
mean, Clay was pretty bad at the end of his run with the Warriors, to be fair, but like,
he
still
was.
probably would have
But
been a wrong decision. Yeah.
yeah, they're just not good, and definitely not players that you want being like the two best players on your team after
Hmm.
Curry and Jimmy leave. That's like the definition of a that's
Yeah.
like challenging the 2016 Sixers for the worst record ever
Hmm.
if they're the two best players on the team. So I'm interested to see where the Warriors go because they're I won't even want to say title window, but like their playoff window is closing fast.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like teams
Maybe
like
they if they can get a year of
no, go on. Yeah.
that.
All right, I'll go. The teams like the Spurs or like if you even want to stretch like the Blazers maybe like, but really the Spurs like are on the come up. And here's like the Mavs missed the playoffs this year. They're a team that if they're healthy next season, like Kyrie, they're saying hopefully he can be back by like January. Like that second half of the season, the Mavs might go on a crazy run, and like I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors. I mean, it's crazy to say that they could miss the playoffs, but it's a legitimate possibility.
I think if they get a season of healthy Curry and Jimmy, they'll definitely make the playoffs. But because I mean, they had a ridiculous record with them both in the lineup. I think it was like
Yeah,
a 21-5 record with them both in the lineup.
but I feel like that's also a
Their
reason
schedule was a
why.
little easier.
Yeah, their schedule wasn't that hard, but I feel like that's also a reason why Steph got hurt was because like once they got Jimmy, it felt like every game for them was like a playoff game because they were already like battling for the like to make the play-in area, and they ended up going all the way up to the 7 seed. Um, like it from the deadline on, it was just basically every night was a playoff game for them, and so they've played like 30 super high stress important must win games, and like Steph's been playing crazy minutes, been like not carrying the team necessarily, but like he just finally got another running partner who he's been like begging for years now. So I feel like he's 37. He's been carrying this team all season long. It's probably a large reason why he gets his hamstring strain.
Yeah. So I do think I'm not sure how much more time Curry has.
Hmm.
It's kind of hard to imagine Curry not being like a star player, but I just don't know how much more he has left in the tank. I think he's probably got a couple of years, but I don't
I feel like he's
I don't
got
know.
like
It's
3
hard it's
years
hard to
left.
predict where he's going to go. Yeah. He
I,
makes it to 40.
yeah, I think so. I mean, he's got
He's still a
the
high level player right now.
yeah. He's still like he made I think the second or third most threes this year. He was still one of the best shooters and general offensive engines in the league. And he really kept his team afloat in the first half of the season when like he was playing with just nothing out there. Buddy was terrible,
Mhm.
and just everything on his team was going bad, and he was still able to keep them afloat. Um, yeah, I could see him playing for a few more seasons. Like his athleticism will keep going down a bit more and more, but good shooters have been proven throughout the last 20 years to be able to extend their careers longer than maybe they should, just because your 3-point shot doesn't really go away. Like maybe your ability to defend or dunk or whatever goes away, but like if you could still shoot, you could still shoot. Um, and I don't really see that changing for Curry at all. So like I just like if they're gonna try to contend actually, they should have done this years ago. But they should have traded Kuminga and Moody or at least one of them for
Oh
something,
yeah.
because like letting them just rot
They
away and then
aged
like
so well.
inevitably become a free agent and like just walk and go to some other team to be like there's eighth man on the team or something, like they just played the situation horribly. Like this team is so old now, like Jimmy, Draymond, Steph, even Buddy Hield being like your arguable fourth best player, like is that he's in his 30s at this point, probably too. I don't know his age, but he's probably 30 or close to it. Like Pods is the only young, like bright piece, quote unquote, and like Pods is probably your like ideally like your fourth or fifth best player, maybe third if you really have to stretch it. But like he is not good enough to be your second or first option. And
Oh, yeah, no.
like at times when especially when Jimmy's off the court, which is barely happening at all without Steph. Like he's playing like 45 minutes or whatever. Um, like no, there's nobody out there to be able to carry the offense at all. Those non-Jimmy minutes are just putrid. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, do you have anything else from this series to touch on? I feel like we we probably talked about that series more than the Thunder one.
Yeah. Not a whole lot. Just bummer that Curry got hurt.
Definitely.
And it's really kind of just the theme of the series is that the Timberwolves should win, should get it done, and the
Hmm.
Warriors kind of had no chance right from the get go because of that.
Yeah. Uh, so you're saying T Wolves in five?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. It's just honestly, even if they steal a game, T Wolves in six. Like I don't think them getting back Steph is gonna force them to game seven, and I don't even think Steph is gonna like. I don't think Steph's coming back for game six. I would be surprised if he comes back at all this
I don't think
series.
he should.
Yeah, I don't think
I
so.
don't think he should. It's not worth the risk,
Yeah, they
especially
can.
if you're down 3-1.
And to
It
my
would be,
knowledge,
or I guess it would have to be 3-2 at that point. But
yeah, to my knowledge, this team is like basically under contract for next season. At least like the important players. So like maybe
mm,
Buddy Hield or something's
just
not.
run
I
it
don't
back.
know. Yeah, like they can run it back next year and reset. Um, all right, but we can head out east now. We'll start out with the Cavs Pacers because that's the one seed versus the four seed. So the Cavs are currently down 1-2. Pacers stole both games in Cleveland, and then the Cavs went into Indy in Game Three and kind of stomped them out a bit. Got a real dominant Game Three win. We can start with Game One. Pacers won 121 to 112. Wasn't I'll just cover the general stats for to start off. Wasn't the best Donovan Mitchell game. He had to carry this team decently hard. He had but didn't shoot very well. 13 for 30, 1 for 11 from three. He had 33, 5 and 4. Evan Mobley had 20 and 10, two blocks. He had two threes. I'm really efficient, 9 for 13. This was Ty Jerome's only good game this series. He was the only player with a positive plus minus was a plus 10, which is pretty crazy in a 9-point loss. 21, 3 and 8 that game. Strus was like just missing everything. On the Pacers side, they went 50, 50, 90 this game, which is just ridiculous. Halliburton had 22, 13 assists, 4 stocks. Nemhard had a 23 and 6, 5 threes. Aaron Nesmith hit 4 threes. I mean, Halliburton was just processing this game so well. It felt like he was really just in control from start to finish. I don't, I didn't, I don't even know if they led at any point, or sorry, if they were behind at any point. It felt like the Pacers were leading this whole game. Um, that's just game one though. What did you see in this game that you really wanted to talk about?
I think Game 4 is going to be chippy. Um, I think we saw at the end of Game 3, which I thought was just kind of weird. Rick Carlisle subbed in James Johnson
So
at the
strange.
end of the game,
That was so
and
weird.
he immediately just set like a hard pick foul on somebody.
Hmm.
And the announcer noticed it right away too, which I was like, what is going on? I've never seen this strategy before. They're like, we're going to come in and prove that we can hit you guys when we're down 30. Um, and I think so. I think we are going to get a super chippy game in
Yeah,
Game
that
4.
was so strange. I didn't think about that
Yeah,
since the game happened. He had I mean like we can get to game three in a second, but like he had 3 points. Halliburton only had four, and Halliburton probably played 10 times the minutes he did. Like, but James Johnson playing at all was just very weird.
I thought he was a coach. I'm not gonna. I didn't know that he was still actually
He
a
is a
rostered
player, but like
player.
he basically he's just there to like when there's a fight, he just steps on the court and everybody instantly like you know pees their pants in fear of him and like stops fighting. And like he's just I guess like a veteran leader for them. But yeah, he's like a player coach. He does not play outside of like closing like garbage minutes ever. And so I don't know what and, like they put him in the game, and then they still had like Halliburton and Siakam and Neesmith. Like they had all these guys still in the game too. So it's not like they put him in with like Johnny
So weird.
Furphy and shit. Like it was very strange.
There was so many fouls in that game.
Hmm.
That game pushed the Thunder game got pushed back. The tip off got pushed back 25 minutes because of
Yeah.
how late that game was going, and the Thunder game still didn't start on time because
Hmm.
of how many fouls were happening in that game. Um,
Yeah. I want
Donovan Mitchell.
while you're talking, I'm gonna see how many free throws they shot that game.
Donovan Mitchell has been fantastic. I was kind of all aboard the Anthony Edwards best shooting guard in the league train, but
So was I.
Donovan Mitchell just continues to prove that he's just a playoff player.
Hmm.
He was creating an open shot every single time he touched the ball. He's been able to get to the rim at will the entire series, and you maybe can't put as much stock into that because it is the Pacers defense and
Hmm.
their defense isn't very good, but
Yeah.
still, like NBA level defenders, and Donovan Mitchell is
Well,
just making them look like high schoolers the entire game.
the Pacers defense honestly is not that bad. I think outside of like the first few months of the season, they've been like top 10. Especially in that second half of the season, they were really solid down the stretch. I think they had like the third or fourth highest net rating, and which that's on everything, but like since January 1st, I think, or maybe the deadline, they were like one of the better teams in the league. But yeah, the defense is not on the level of the Cavs, and honestly, neither is their offense. That was very evident in Game Three. The Cavs just kind of steamrolled them for the most part of the whole game. They were up anywhere between like 10 and 20 points. It felt like for the most part, consistently throughout that game. Um, I guess yeah, we could touch on Game Three and then move around back to the other games. In Game Three, so they won 126 to 104. Uh, Donovan Mitchell just again a ridiculous performance. 43 9 and 5 on 14 for 29, five threes. Evan Mobley came back this game from the sprained ankle. He missed game two. 18 and 13, six stocks. Strus hit four huge threes. Ty Jerome just god awful in this series, and it feels like Atkinson's really realizing that now. He gave him like game one, Ty Jerome was solid, and then game two, he was just awful, like just complete garbage. And game three, I think he played 13 minutes, which is very interesting because game two he started and played like 35. So that tells me that like game four, I'm really interested to see how many minutes he plays. It's really for the rest of the series, especially if he's going to keep playing bad. Like I don't think he'll get to the point of DNPs because they're going to keep putting him out there just like to hope that he can be good. But if he goes out there and starts missing his shots, I think he's gonna have a really short leash, and I think he's gonna get pulled pretty quickly. Um, he was but Ty Jerome that game to put the stats out, he was 1 for 8, 0 for 4 from three, in like I said, 13 minutes. Just not a good game at all from him. On the indie side, like I mentioned earlier, Halliburton was the he had 4 points, was the eighth leading scorer on his own team. Just a terrible, terrible game from him. He shot eight. He had eight at shot attempts and made two of them. Like he just was not aggressive at all. Was not even looking at the rim. We've mentioned this. Like I feel like everybody talks about this with Halliburton, where he has these games, but like in the last I don't know 4 months, he hasn't. It felt like he hasn't had a single one of these games. And so for him to kind of just randomly have him in game three was pretty surprising. The Cavs defended him really well, but it's just like he wasn't aggressive whatsoever, especially in this postseason. Last series and this series, he's been like uber aggressive at times, and so for him to just like not even try to score was pretty shocking.
Yeah, the Cavs finally got healthy in game three, and I think we kind of saw what we were expecting to see.
Hmm.
Um, just what we saw from them all season. Game two was a nasty fourth quarter choke from them.
Brutal, terrible choke. While you're talking, I'm gonna
Just
pull up the
that was a
stats.
game. That was a game that I like really wasn't paying attention to because I was like, all right, Cavs bounce back game two. It is what it is. They win game two at home, tied the series,
Hmm.
and then you keep looking at the screen. You're like, oh, the Pacers are just getting closer and closer, and
Hmm.
Halliburton with another ridiculous clutch moment, and then. But I
Yeah,
do
right.
think Cavs when they're at full strength, I do think they're going to be able to put this series away. Um, I don't really think they're going to have much of a problem with the
Hmm.
Pacers going forward. They
Okay.
are going to have no margin for error now that they've gotten behind. Now that they got behind 2-0, they
Yeah.
can't afford to have like a terrible shooting game, especially
Hmm.
this game. But I think if they could tie it up and get back in front of their home crowd, full strength, like I said, I think it's been one of the better environments in the playoffs this year. I think they'll be able to take a 3-2 lead, and then we'll see what happens from there. But everything pretty much hinges on this game four. They have to
Hmm.
show up. I think Ty Jerome has been getting good shots, and he's just not making them, which
Yeah.
is unfortunate to see. But he played well in game one. I think he'll bounce back tonight. He's been just uncharacteristically bad the last two games,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Uh, the biggest run in like that second half for the Pacers, they went on a 15-3 run from 1 second left in the third quarter to just under 7 minutes left in the fourth. It was just kind of a overall. They were outscored 36-21 in the fourth. Yeah, they just kind of just lost it down the stretch. The Pacers again had another 7 second under 1 minute left comeback, which is just like ridiculous. They've had two of those in one playoff run at this point, which is like that's just crazy, you know. Um, a few stats about that. So the second one is really shocking to me. Um, so first one is that NBA teams are 3 and 1,640 when trailing by 7 plus points in the final minute of fourth quarter or overtime in the play-by-play era. 0.1.8% winning percentage. The Pacers have won two of those this postseason against the Bucks and now the Cavs, which is just insane. Um,
Yeah,
and then in Game Two, when Halliburton hit the step back 3 pointer, that was his 10th shot to make that his 10th make this season to tie or take the lead in the final 2 minutes of the game this season. He's 10 for 11 on those shots this season. Like that is so unbelievably insane. He's so consistently good in the clutch. Like he's just so efficient. It feels like every time he puts up a shot, it's just like almost guaranteed to make it in the clutch. And so that made me think, how many players like in a you know last shot of the game type scenario, how many guys are you taking over him? Because like in the entire league, not even just point guards. Because I don't think there's many, if any at all, really.
probably just a handful of guys. Yeah,
I mean, like I think.
because I'd still rather have like Brunson, or although Brunson fucking limp dicked a layup in game one against
Yeah.
Boston that I couldn't believe didn't go in. But I'd probably still like Albert's definitely up there for me,
Mhm.
but I'd still rather have a guy like a Curry or a Jokic or Brunson if it's the last shot of the game. Especially, I think if I had one shot, one possession at the end of the game, I'd still probably go Jokic over anybody else. I'd just give it down to him in the post, and I think
Mhm.
he'll either get me an open look or hit a shot himself. But
Okay.
Halliburton's definitely probably in that top tier of guys
Yeah.
that I'd give the ball to in the clutch. He's proven it over and over again, especially this season,
Mhm.
and especially this playoffs, that he's a guy that you want the ball in his hands with the game on the line, which is cool to see because he's gotten this kind of label as this player who doesn't really have that much confidence in his shot, but it seems like in every time the moment is uh, at its biggest, he always proven those narratives at this point. Uh, the stats and the play speaks to that.
Yep. Um, I don't know if I would take him as like the number like the best, not best clutch player, but like the one I would choose the first, but he's one of the first choices for me, no doubt. Like I think I might even take him over Jokic, just because I think that he might like generate a better look than Jokic would. I think he can get downhill faster than Jokic can. I think he would like he's able to get more separation, so he'd get a more open shot than Jokic would. Not to say Jokic is obviously bad in the clutch or anything. Obviously, he's fantastic, but Halliburton has just been consistently like the when they came back against the Bucks in the 7 point comeback, he he cooked Giannis off of like a hezzy left go right and go straight to the basket type shot, and then this time he hits a step back like from that step back was so big. Like he stepped back from like the almost the free throw line all the way to the 3 point line and had maybe 4 feet of separation and then just had a wide open 3 point shot. Like I don't even know how he possibly landed that or how he got that much of a jump back. That was very impressive. But yeah, he's been just terrific in the clutch and like these games are going to keep coming down to the wire. I think Game 4 is going to be really exciting. Today has got just two awesome games between the Thunder Game
Yep.
4 and then the Pacers Game 4. We're in for some elite basketball today, and the next few days because we've got four Game 4s that are all almost win or go home type scenarios. So yeah, some peak basketball. I do want to mention from Game 2 as well because um, DeAndre Hunter got the broken thumb or dislocated thumb, so he was out, and then Evan Mobley was out with a sprained ankle, and then obviously Garland was still out as well. Which Garland looked a lot better in game 3 than I was expecting. Pre-game warm-ups he looked super stiff and like not comfortable. I thought it was going to be a bad game for him. He was pretty decent. Um, but game 2 though, so they win. The Pacers won 120, 119. Uh, so Halliburton in the fourth quarter, or going into the fourth, had 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He finished with 19 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Like just he had such a electric fourth quarter. He really stepped up big there. Um, Miles Turner had 6 stocks, 23 points. It's crazy. Neesmith 5 threes. Nemhard had 13, 7 and 13. And then Donovan Mitchell is really what I wanted to get to here. Without his point guard, his second best player, and maybe his not even maybe definitely his best bench player right now, which is saying not is saying a lot, I guess, because DeAndre Hunter has not been that good this postseason in general. He hasn't had many good. I think he had like one good game against the Heat, um, but he was out as well, and so Donovan Mitchell 48 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 stocks on 15 for 30, 17 for 21 from the line, 27 points in the second half. Like he was doing it all for them. The one layup he had, I think it was on like Miles Turner and Siakam or something like that. It was like two or three people there where he went up for it and then he starts falling down and he pushes it as he's on his way down. Like he cocked it back, went around, and then still made the layup after. That was crazy. That was one of the greatest layups I've ever seen, honestly. Um, Donovan Mitchell is just unreal. I was looking at his playoff stats in his career. It's unbelievable how good of a playoff player he is. So this series, he's averaging 41 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, on 47. I mean, only 22 from three and 75 from the line. But this is his highest scoring playoff series of his career, and he's never averaged under 20 outside of the second round in his rookie season when they lose in five to the Rockets in 2017-18. Um, but like he's in the last couple years, the Miami series, he barely even had to try. So like that's kind of whatever. But he usually averages 25 to 30 points per game. And this one, like I said, 41 points per game. He's just been just so dominant. So it made me think of the question: is he the best playoff player in the league right now?
Um, I think like this postseason, maybe. If you gave me a general like, what player would you want on your team going into the playoffs, or what player would you want on your team in the playoffs generally?
Well,
I
how about
think the
like
answer.
well, that's different because obviously, like I'm going to take a center in Jokic over a shooting guard almost any day, because like just having a center is more important than a good shooting guard. But um, like, who do you out of any player in the league, who do you trust to have a good game? How about that? Or like,
Well,
if you like to win you a game or anything like that. Like I don't know. I think Donovan
to win me a
Mitchell
game,
is up there in
honestly,
that conversation.
when he's healthy, I have so much faith in Curry as a playoff player.
That's fair.
Um, he's just done it time and time again.
Hmm.
Um, and it just feels like he's one of those players who's inevitable down the stretch of a game, like you've said multiple times over the last couple of weeks. Is he's that guy in the last minute of the game who's going to hit a couple back-breaking threes
Hmm.
that are going to haunt you for the rest of your life if it's against your team.
Yeah, I
Um,
have a lot of those.
him, Giannis,
Yeah,
Mitchell's
geez,
definitely up
Giannis was
there.
awesome in this playoffs, man.
Yeah, Giannis just
It's
doesn't
so
have a
unfortunate
team
that
right
yeah,
now.
I want him to get traded so bad, man.
We'll see what happens there. I would still say Jokic, even though he's kind of had a bad playoff run.
Hmm.
It just feels like such an outlier,
I mean that's fair
especially with what
enough.
he's done for the
Like
last 5 years. I
Jok
would still probably say Jokic is my guy, but
yeah, like Jokic isn't like a wrong answer. I don't feel, but it's just like Donovan Mitchell is just so consistently in every year like of his career from the bubble to now, like even his rookie season, he was averaging like he was consistently a really good playoff player. He's always having
yeah,
high scoring games. Like I said, in the bubble, he had the 50-point duel against Jamal Murray. He had back-to-back 40-point games now, averaging 40 in the playoffs in this series. Like I trust him to really carry the load. When they played the Celtics last year, he was really good, especially when Garland was just having a horrible series against the Celtics. Like he's typically gotten kind of owned by them, and so it's really been on D Mitch to really step it up there. And without Garland, he was playing a lot of point guard minutes, and even now when Garland's back, because Ty Jerome's been so bad, he's playing so much point guard minutes. Um, he's had a huge load on his shoulders, and he's really been able to carry this team. That he really backpacked them to that game 3 win. It was without him getting 48 points. I don't know if they end up winning that game, even though they won by 20 or whatever. Like he just was constantly foot on the gas, not letting up any pressure because they saw what happened in game 2 and they let up a little pressure in that fourth quarter. They go on a run. They end up, Max Strus horrible inbound, which that's a whole other thing. That sequence to end that game in game 2 was just brutal. Like the way that they could not get an inbound in. Great defense by the Pacers, but just terrible execution by the Cavs. Um, but yeah, Donovan Mitchell, fantastic series, elite playoff player. They're going to need more great performances if they're going to want to close out this series. Because for as how maybe much better the Cavs are than the Pacers, this Pacers team is still really good, and they could without a doubt win any of these games. They could win Game 4 in Cleveland or in Indy, or win Game 5 in Cleveland. Like none of those things would be that surprising to me. They've already won 2 in Cleveland. To me, that tells me anything could happen in this series.
yeah, and injuries might have something to do with that. We'll
For
see what
sure.
happens with Garland back full time because he's just such an important part of this team.
Yeah.
The thing that to speak on Mitchell, I just feel like his playmaking doesn't get talked about enough.
Oh my
Like you
God,
said, he's had
dude.
to play point guard a lot in this
Yeah.
series. He's such a good kick out passer,
Mm-hmm.
and he can pass in these weird angles while he's in the air,
Crazy.
and is still just generating enough force to snap the ball out to the corners or snap the ball out to the wing while he's in the
Yep.
air. Um, and because he's so quick and he's able to punish matchups so well, he's always forcing someone to rotate over to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's always able to find the open guy, and he's just been able to generate such good offense this series. Uh, he's averaging 40, and he's really not shooting that well either. Like
Mm-hmm.
he
Yeah, like I
hasn't been
said,
able to hit a three
22%
all
from three.
series. Yeah, he's not like his jump shot's been really poor this series, and he's still finding a way to score because he's just so hard to stop. He's been able to get to the basket at will this
Mm-hmm.
series, so I'm excited to see what he does tonight. It'll definitely be one of the defining moments of his career if he's able to put up a big game and send this thing back to Cleveland tied. And I think
That'd be pretty crazy.
we'll look back at what happens in this game, and I think this will be a game that decides who wins the series. Because I think if the Pacers go up 3-1, it's probably over.
Yeah,
But I think
I
if the
agree.
Cavs can go into Indiana and get two in a row, I don't see them losing this series now that they're at full strength.
Um, yeah, honestly, all right, here's a good question. How many, since all these series are 2-1 right now, how many game fours, if any at all, don't decide the series?
Don't decide the series. I think three of them. The Celtics, the Cavs, and the Thunder were the three best teams in the league all year. I think they'll all respond and win their game fours.
No, I mean like so the Thunder are down 2-1. If they win game 4, now do like you feel that they're going to win the series
Oh,
versus like whoever wins or loses, like how big is game 4, if somebody goes down 3-1,
I think
is there any series that is they're going to make a comeback here, you think?
I think the winner of every single game four will win every single series. It's
I
either
agree.
someone's going to go up 3-1 or a top team in the league is going to tie it at two. Outside of the Warriors, I think if the Warriors were to somehow win game four, they would still lose the series. But
Yeah, I feel the same.
um, I think obviously whoever goes up 3-1, I think the Thunder at that point would just have proven they lack the experience to beat
Hmm.
the Nuggets right now. I think if the Cavs go down 3-1, Pacers are just such a tough team to beat three times in a row because if they hot one of those games, they're pretty much impossible to beat
Yep.
when their shots are falling at the rate that they did in let's like say game one. Like
Hmm.
it's just hard to beat them when they're shooting that well. And then uh Celtics, I think, would have the best chance of a 3-1 comeback out of any team because I truly just believe that the Knicks are just so much worse of a team than they are, and they just played so poorly in the first two games.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
again, like you go down 3-1, the margin for error is completely gone. So
Hmm.
you
Yeah,
can't have a
you can't even have a bad
can't
quarter.
have a 10 for 40 3-point game if you're down 3-1 in the series. But I
Hmm.
think because the Celtics are the closest we've seen to a 3-0 comeback, in my opinion. Like I was confident that they were going to win that game seven until Tatum got hurt right away. But I think a 3-1 comeback would be in the cards for them against a team like the Knicks. But I think the Celtics will win game four, and we'll get to that series eventually. But
Yep.
I think the winner of game four and these three series outside of the Warriors series will win all of those series.
I do agree with basically everything you said. I think game 4, I don't really see any of these teams, even if the Knicks go up 3-1, I don't see the Celtics making the comeback. I don't trust the Thunder to make a 3-1 comeback at this point. And like I think the Thunder could make it to 7. That's a possibility. I wouldn't say it's likely, but I would say it's definitely possible. But like, see, that's the thing though, because if they make it to 7 and then they lose at home, I would be pretty shocked. So I would say that I don't even trust them to make it 7 because I don't think that they would win Game 6 in Denver. Um, but yeah, I don't trust any of these teams to win 7, whether it's because I don't trust the team themselves or the team they're going against is too good to lose 3 in a row. It's a bit of both. Um,
Yeah.
Anything else from the Cavs Pacers that you wanted to hit on? All right, who do you have winning?
I think I'll take the Cavs in seven like I had originally, which is going to end up aging well because of injuries, but I'll
Yeah,
take it.
I think I said like I was very reactionary in my takes. I think I had Cavs in 6 or 5. I don't fully remember, but I going into the series, like last round and like during the regular season, I was saying the Pacers really could upset them, and I wouldn't have been surprised if the Pacers won in 7. So I would take Cavs in 7 right now. Just they feel like that game 3 really told me like them when they're healthy, like you said, they're just the better team. Um, but game 4 is gonna be really exciting tonight. It's such a huge game for both games today. Like I said, it's great basketball today. The
Mhm.
last thing I wanted to touch on before we get into the Celtics Knicks, which I have so much to say, and we're making really good time so far. Only an hour 15 in.
Yeah, I love it.
Uh, so if the Thunder end up losing, like let's say in 6, because I don't think we lose in 5. If we lost back to back here, I'd be pretty surprised. Like if we lost at home in game 5, like that would just be a surprising scenario. So let's say we lose in 6 or 7, and then we lose in the second round again. What do the Thunder do from here? Do you think that they just because everybody's
Giannis
under
time.
contract, like every single player on the team right now is under contract for next season, so they could run it back, or like obviously you have the Giannis is on the trade market, um, Kevin Durant's are on the trade market, like I don't know
You
Devin
know,
Booker or something.
I don't think Devin Booker goes anywhere. I
I
think
agree.
he's going to be a Sun.
I agree.
Kevin Durant, that would be special because I don't. They wouldn't
I
have to
wouldn't
give
mind
up
it.
any of their young. I don't think you guys would have to give up any of your young stars to get KD.
No, it's
I don't
like
know how the contracts would work,
it's
but
probably yeah. He's making like
KD's
50
probably worth
something.
like what, first round pick, and
Yeah,
like he's not worth that
throw
much
him a
at this point.
first and like maybe 2 at the most. And then like what do you Aaron Wiggins maybe you're probably looking at because you got to give him something. And obviously J Dub Chet Shea is not going anywhere. We're not trading Caruso. I don't even think they would get iHeart out of us. Maybe contractually they'd have to, but I wouldn't really want to do that. I think
Maybe yeah.
Aaron Wiggins and like picks and that might be enough. iHeart might have to be there contractually. I don't know the numbers perfectly, but even if he was, I wouldn't even necessarily hate it. You could sign some other center. I don't know who's in free agency this season, but like even if you need to trade for somebody, you could trade for somebody out there, whoever it is, just to be like your bruising type of center. Um, but
That's the
yeah,
thing.
you think you said KD is interesting? Do you think a Giannis trade is like? Do you think that's like
I
likely?
ob-
Because I really don't know what to
obvi-
think.
obviously Giannis would be the ideal. Like we don't win this year, we have to go get Giannis. He's the best
Hmm.
player available. The only issue for me is I don't think Giannis will be available. The Bucks aren't going to want to trade him unless he asks out,
Yeah.
and I don't think Giannis will ask out. I truly believe Giannis isn't really going to go anywhere. He's going to stay put. KD though is a player we know will be happy to bounce from team to team,
And
and
it's
I would
widely
love
reported
to
he
see
will
him
be
go back
traded
to
already.
OKC. Yeah, I would love to see him OKC 2016 LeBron moment. Not to the
Hmm.
same degree, obviously, but getting his team that he started with a championship after stabbing them in the back 10 years ago
Yeah.
um, would be one of the coolest NBA moments ever. And because you guys would be able to keep your core intact while getting him,
Hmm.
because he's probably like the Thunder are going to be able to make the best offer for whoever they want to get. And if you guys lose this year, semifinals, back to back first seed losses, to teams that going into the series, you really like everybody has you winning.
I think the Maverick series
You
is more
Presti can't
understandable,
just.
but like losing this series is like
It
they
is more
just got a new
understandable, but like this
coach.
year,
Like their bench is honestly just not that good. Like losing to the Nuggets is worse to me. Although Jokic is better than Luca, like it's a worse loss than the Mavericks losses.
if Presti leaves this window, because the Thunder have one of the largest championship windows in the history of the sport. Like
Hmm.
they have all their players are super young. They're already the best team in the league in the regular season.
Yeah.
They're like the modern version of the 1996 Bulls in terms of net
Hmm.
rating. Um, if they go this window without winning a championship outside of like historically bad injury luck, Sam Presti's the worst general manager of all time because he's sitting on
Yeah.
the greatest asset pool ever
It'd be
with
the second
he's
like
able to make.
all-time level dynasty where I mean obviously J Dub Shea Chet are all really young, but like realistically Shea has the potential to be like a top 10 player, top 15 player at the end of his career. Chet is probably going to be a top 75 level player, and J Dub is top 100, top 150 level potential player. Like if this is like a winning core, um, and so like all time, I'm saying those numbers. So like,
Yeah.
uh, and like he already did it with a Harden, KD Russ team, like losing, making to a finals and losing it and never reaching it again. Like right now, I'm not worried about the potential of not winning a finals because in my head, like even if this series is still, I'm worried about it and we might not win it, like whatever. I'm still like, there's no way we never win a finals with this team. If we lose next year, that's when I'm gonna start to be like, all right, let's start to win soon now, because for as long as this window seems to be, people keep throwing out 10 years, 8 years, whatever the number is. Like it's no guarantee that that actually happens. Who knows when nobody expected Harden to ask out because he wasn't getting the money he wanted, or like nobody thought that was going to be a scenario, and now that's a scenario people are kind of looking at here, where it's like, what if J Dub wants to go be the number one option somewhere, or wants to get more money, or whatever, or like this player, that player, whatever the scenario is. I feel like Presti learned a lot from his mistakes before, but like those mistakes could still come back this time, and just random things happen. Um, I don't know if I. It's such a tough scenario to say like whether you blow it up or not for a Giannis trade, because you don't have to blow it up for KD, but for Giannis, like you really have to trade. Like they're probably gonna ask for Chet. Is they're gonna like what the Bucks would ask for, and the Thunder would say no. Like Chet is an untouchable. There's almost nobody you could trade for him in the league. I feel. Um, but like J Dub,
Well, that's the thing. Giannis is probably one of the only guys that could work in a Chet trade.
yeah, yeah. But I'm saying like if you're the Thunder, I would rather keep Chet than get Giannis, because if you lose Chet, then
I would
like
say that
you're
too.
you're you're just losing so much of your defense. I would lose J Dub though. I would live with that. I wouldn't love it for sure, but I would. I mean, you're getting a top 15 player of all time. Like you can't be that upset.
That's why I think KD's the move.
Yeah.
You got to go for a championship now. You have KD. You probably have a pretty good shot at back-to-back titles because
Hmm.
he's still going to be,
Yeah, he's still a
in the role
top
that he would have with
15
OKC.
player for the next
Yeah,
10,
he's
like next
probably.
2 years. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how much of a dip his scoring takes if he were to go to OKC because he'd be
Hmm.
the second option. Um, which I'm trying to think. I don't think KD's ever been a second option, like a true second, clear second option
Yeah,
ever in his
yeah.
career.
Not really,
Um,
no, because like even like with Brooklyn or with the Warriors. I mean, with the Warriors, he was kind of the number one. And then like
yeah,
with the Suns
his
now, like
carries are off ball.
yeah, like with even with the Suns now, like you could argue like it's Devin Booker's team or whatever, but there's games where KD has
Yeah,
40 points and there's games where D Book has 40, so it's just kind of whoever has the hot hand.
that's who I hope they go for.
And plus,
Just
with
for the
what you
storyline, it would be
yeah,
awesome.
and what with
And
what you said about Giannis maybe not asking out, they need to really monitor that situation closely, because they could do KD this offseason, let's say, trade whoever it is, you get KD, and you try to go for it all this year. And if it doesn't, if we end up next year like losing in the conference finals, semifinals again, then if Giannis is
that
still in
would
the
be
Bucks, and
insane.
at that point, if Giannis is on the Bucks next season, I think if he's not traded this offseason, next offseason is 100%, because they're gonna suck next year, and then he's gonna like fully see the writing on the wall. Then I think even if he doesn't necessarily ask out, if you're the Thunder, that's when you throw your package at the Bucks and try to get Giannis, and that's when you really need to blow it up and completely reset the scenario, because if you're still not winning with KD on the team next year, like something needs to change.
KD on the team, depending on what they have to give up. Like it depends how much the
Hmm.
Suns would be asking for. I really don't think they would be asking for too much.
Yeah.
Um, if the Thunder got Kevin Durant and didn't win the finals, it would get to the point where I believe that their franchise is cursed.
Yeah, and that would also like that would say a lot about KD. I feel like that would be a blemish on his career, because they've already got all, like he's got all the ring chasing like negatives put on his name, and like he's a career loser or whatever, because he's gone to all these great scenarios and not won championships outside of the Warriors. But going to this team now, where he'd be like the key veteran, a real like leader position for them, and not winning the championship on a team that like is so perfectly set for a championship run and just needed that like elite another scorer, that would be pretty shocking. if he and he would be the guy that would carry them in those clutch scenarios too. Like that'd
Yep.
be jarring
Yep.
if they lost that scenario.
That's what I was gonna say. I think you see Oklahoma City and their big weakness right now is their fourth quarter
Hmm.
uh, close game situation offense. I think if you get Giannis, he doesn't really fix that. It would their team would blow everybody out. So
Yeah,
again, it would be a situation where you don't have a ton of close games. But
yeah,
Giannis isn't a guy, in my opinion, that in the fourth quarter. That's why it was always kind of Middleton that was closing games out for the Bucks when they were
hmm
playing together because
yeah.
he's
Because you
more
need
of a guy who
shot
can get
making.
to
Yeah.
his spots. Yeah. I think Kevin Durant answers that or fixes that problem for OKC perfectly. He's a tenured playoff player. He's
Hmm.
shown it in the playoffs. He's shown it in the finals. He's shown it in the Olympics. Big games. He wants the ball in his hands. He gets to his spots. He hits his shots. And I think a lot of the pressure goes off Shea when that
Yeah.
happens. Um, so I would love to see them get KD, just because at one I think it addresses their, or one I love the storyline. Two, I think it addresses their big problem, and I just think they would be certain champions if they did that because they wouldn't have to give much up, and barring injury luck,
Hmm.
I think they would be a generationally great team.
And if we trade for KD, I would hope that we would sign Russ because winning a championship
That
with
would be special.
KD and not Russ would feel so like sacrilegious for everything that
Well, here's the
happened
thing.
in the mid to late 2010s.
Here's the thing. If you guys don't win it this year, Russ is probably getting his ring this year,
That is true.
so he probably wouldn't want to leave Denver.
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
point.
and it would just be so cool to see Westbrook get a ring. Um,
Yeah, I
I
really
would
want
love
him
to
to.
see
And
that.
also,
I
like,
would love to
if he
see it
wins a
in
ring
Oklahoma
this
City, but
season, oh yeah, I would ideally it's OKC, but like if he wins it this year, he's played a legitimate he's played a bigger role on this team than he did with the cat with um the Clippers in the postseason too. Like they were benching him a lot, and this
yeah,
postseason
he's been
held
really
it.
good.
Yeah, he's held his own for. He's had a few like not great games in the last series, and then like this series, honestly, he's been pretty solid. I mean, people made the joke of like he's got 7 home games or whatever, which is pretty true. But he does seem like he's really confident in OKC. He's always played pretty well there, since leaving OKC. But yeah, like he's played a real key role for them off the bench, and it'd be like a really earned ring, not carried at all. Like he added his own role to that, so that'd be pretty cool for him to win it all. That's enough Thunder talk though. We can
Yeah.
move on to the last series: Celtics versus Knicks. The 2 seed Celtics currently down 1-2 to the 3 seeded Knicks. Nobody saw this coming at all. I think we in the last pod with you and Scott, I think all of us had Celtics in 5, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
and
already out the window.
yeah, so I mean, the Celtics, obviously we talked about it all in the last podcast, but like the Knicks were so terrible against all the good teams, especially the Celtics in the regular season. Um, this series has just been just insane, horrible shot making from the Celtics. Back to
Uh-huh.
back in
Hate
the
him, man.
they lost game 1 and 2 in Boston, back to back 20-point blown leads. One of them was in the fourth quarter. They like basically fully blew it, and then they responded with a big 22-point win in New York for Game 3. But we can get into the first 2 games first. Few things I have written here. Jaylen Brown in Game 1. I have a quarter by quarter breakdown of Jaylen Brown here, because of how just awful he is. Like everyone's hating on Tatum, and so deservedly so, because he's been terrible. But like nobody's talking about how bad Jaylen Brown is, and I really want to highlight how awful he has been.
Yeah,
Um,
he has not been good.
so quarter 1 in Game 1, 0 for 3, he had 1 point, and then in quarter 2, he had really good. He had 13 points, like 5 for 8. He was really efficient. Quarter 3, he goes 0 for 4, 0 points in 8 minutes, and then in quarter 4, um, he went 1 for 3. I think he had 2 points, and then OT he went 1 for 2 with the game-losing turnover where Mikal Bridges just rips the ball straight out of his arms like a 30-year-old man does in a pickup game against a child. Like it was just ridiculous. Like he just got bullied in that first game. He just did not look comfortable at all. He was not getting to his spots when he was open. He was just bricking everything, which can be the same. The same can be said about everybody on the Celtics. Their according to Second Spectrum, their shot quality was like so by far ahead of the Knicks. But
Yep.
unfortunate, same thing for the Thunder, where you don't win the series by net rating. You don't win the series by shot quality. You win it by actually making the shots. And the Celtics could just not make a shot at all for the first two games. Everything was just like they were getting solid looks a lot of the times, and they were missing. And they were also getting heavily contested corner threes that they were shooting, and were bricking all of them. Um, all right, you can talk a bit more before I get back into it.
Tatum is the worst gimmick player in the league.
Yep.
I don't understand why someone so physically gifted with his frame and his ability to get to the rim
Mm-hmm.
loves shooting sidestep three pointers. Will never make
Ridiculous,
sense to
man.
me. Tatum, I've tweeted this out like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only superstar I've ever seen where every time he shoots a jumper, I think it's missing. I never like it. It never looks like it's going in. It's so
It's a
bad.
great
He
tweet.
has such an ugly jump shot. Um, and I don't know. And like you just knew at the end of game two when he had the ball and they were down one,
Mm-hmm.
you knew that he
Not
was
for
gonna take a
not for
horrible
a
shot.
second did I believe it. Like when Brunson hit the two free throws to put them up, I was like, oh, next one. All right. Like it didn't.
The game's
They
over
had
if the ball is in
20
Tatum's
seconds left.
hands.
Like I didn't. It didn't matter who was touching the ball. I knew that game was over. And Tatum touched it. I
He
was
wasted
instantly knew it was over.
he wasted 12 seconds dicking around at the top of the key.
Mm-hmm.
Then he gets a matchup with Mitchell Robinson, barely is able to dribble past him,
Loses
fades
his
away over
dribble.
two people, and then Mikal Bridges just palms the ball, and it just had no chance
Oh
of
my
ever going
God,
in.
man.
It
Yeah.
was so bad. And Mikal Bridges back-to-back game-winning plays, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, in
He,
games one
yeah.
and two. But
He has not been shooting very well, but man, his defense has been awesome this series, and especially in the
yeah,
clutch, his defense has been elite, like as good as it gets. He's really come up huge in the clutch for this team this series. It's been pretty cool to see because so far this season, and in last round too, his defense was not that good.
I've always wanted Tatum to be this guy, and I just it's gotten to the point where he will never be the guy
Hmm.
to me. Like he has a ring. It just he doesn't feel like a superstar to me because I
Hmm.
just don't trust him at all in any big moment. And he has tons of big moments in his career is the thing. Like he has the most points ever in a game seven,
Yeah,
which just feels insane to say when every time I watch him I feel like he sucks. But
yeah.
it he has these moments. It's undeniable, but at the same time, I don't trust him, and it's the only time there's ever been this dynamic with a player for me where it's like this guy is so obviously good. He has all of these great moments,
Hmm.
and I can't put any stock into him because I can't trust him to do anything in these big games. And Jalen Brown equally deserving of the blame.
Yeah,
Every time he gets the ball too, I like am holding my breath. Derek White is the player I trust the most out of any player on Boston.
yeah. And his
And
game
he
too.
hasn't been shooting well this series
Yeah,
either.
he hasn't been shooting that well either. But like he's when he's
It's
in
been an all around disaster class for
yeah,
them.
he was I didn't write his stats down. I can pull it up really quick.
He
But
was good in game
yeah,
three.
Derek White has had a like not great series like we mentioned already, but he's been significantly better than anybody else on this team. His yeah, so
Yeah.
game one, 19 and 11, game 2 he had 29 and 5. I think it was game 2. No, all right, was it game 1? It was game 1. Yeah, he shot five threes. I mean, he went 6 for 18. Like it wasn't a great game for him efficiency wise, but making five threes like that's kind of what 5 for 16, like I'll take it. And like the rest of the team just did not show up whatsoever. Jason Tatum had as many turnovers as made shots in the second half of game one, which like what the hell are we doing? Jalen Brown had as many turnovers as made shots in the fourth quarter and overtime. Again, like what the hell are we doing? It's just embarrassing, really. Like this Knicks team is not. They've got the solid like OG and Macau good perimeter defenders, but like Brunson, you would think you'd be able to just fry him on defense, and Cat has proven throughout his career he's not the best defender. Um, but like Brunson, because of the physicality this postseason, which we haven't mentioned once this podcast yet. This is one of the most physical postseasons I've ever seen. Like the refs are really
Yeah.
letting guys just bang, which is like I'm really open for. Like I think I much prefer this scenario rather than guys foul baiting and getting those calls. Um, but Jalen Brunson, because he's so stocky, he's really just like used his body to just kind of stonewall some of these guys. He uses his chest to kind of push off of them a bit and really not let them back him down, which like typically in the regular season is a foul a lot of the time, and in the playoffs so far it has not been. And the Celtics in the first two games really did not have much of an answer for that. Game three even they didn't much, but they were just hitting their shots a whole lot more. Um, in Yeah, the game one, there's not much else that I really had written down here. It's just good good clutch scenarios by the Knicks there. They really came down in the clutch and turned it up. Jalen Brunson showed up huge. We can move on to game two, which was the Knicks won 91 to 90 to go up 2-0. My notes here is Tatum again, just god awful in this game, just unbelievably bad. Shot 5 for
Not
19,
bad.
1 for 5 from 3. He had 13, 14, and 5 with 4 stocks. The Celtics shot 36, 25, 80 this game. Al Horford this game was really bad. He shot 2 for 11, 0 for 5 from 3. It feels at times that he just shoots too many shots. And then Kristaps only played 14 minutes and he was all right, but like he's really
I don't
really struggling
understand.
out there. You can see it. This disease whatever
Yeah.
he has is it's killing him.
He's always sick. Like this is a constant issue for
It's been a
him.
thing for like
He's like
years it
always.
feels like.
Yeah, I wonder if he has like some kind of autoimmune thing, or I don't
Mhm.
know what's going on with him, which sucks. But um, yeah, game two, very like pretty much the same scenario as game one. The Celtics have a 20-point lead. They're getting better shots the whole game, and then just awful execution,
Mhm.
awful just or not even awful execution. Their execution's fine.
Yep.
Awful play finishing. They
Mhm.
can't hit their shots. Like they can't even make layups. Tatum again, game two, whenever he got the ball, I just kind of let out a collective sigh. Um, Everyone knows it's a turnover, it's a
Yep.
bad shot, not even a bad shot, just a missed shot that's
Mhm.
coming. The first two games they missed what? They missed 30. They missed the NBA record 45 threes in game one. They missed
Mhm.
33s in game two, so they shot like 20. What was it? 25 for 100 the
Yeah, it's
first
just
two
insane.
games of the series, which is just so un-Celtics like.
Mhm.
We know that they're gonna either live or die by the three pointer, but like they can still win games if they're shooting like around 30,
Yeah.
30 like low 30s in the three point column. You can't shoot 15 for 60 or 10 for 40 from three
Mhm.
and win a playoff game. It's just so bad, and that's the reason I still have confidence in them to win the series, is because I just don't think they'll shoot this bad
Yeah,
the rest of the series.
if you
Even
have bad
even
shooting,
Tatum
like
like
you gotta have
eventually.
positive regression at some point.
Yeah, like even Tatum, like eventually his shots will start going in at a higher rate than they are. You
Mhm.
hope, but
Even game three, I mean, he wasn't awesome, but he was like better. He at least could make more than
yeah,
like three shots. It felt like so. There's at least some little bit of positive you could take from it.
it'll be interesting to see. I think they play tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow.
yeah. This in game two, they got outscored by the Knicks 30-17 in the fourth quarter, and from 8:27 left in the fourth to 1:59 left in the fourth, they were outscored 19-2. Um, just like unbelievably bad from the Knicks there, or sorry, from the Celtics rather. I mentioned last podcast that if the Knicks wanted any chance to win this series, you're gonna have to have Josh Hart be a actual like offensive player at all. Um, Teams put their centers on him because he like doesn't shoot and he's not that good at offense. He shies away from even putting up layups at times. And in game two, he had 23, 6 and 3 with two blocks. He went 9 for 15, three threes. Brunson like was struggling all game, and so that was really huge for him to step up there and have 23 points in a 91 point outing. Like that's really, I mean, he had a huge role for them. Cat had 21 and 17. That was really cool. He's been elite on the board so far this series, especially with Porzingis not playing many minutes. Um, yeah, but like I was saying, Brunson wasn't that wasn't shooting very well. And then in the fourth, he was a plus 15 in 6 minutes, scored 9 points of his 17. He really just was electric in that fourth quarter. Really the second you enter the fourth and the clutch minutes start happening, he just like Brunson just switches into that mode, and you just trust him with every shot he takes. It's just a good shot, whether it's his step back fadeaway middies or like the 3 pointers he takes. It's just consistently he just gets good looks, and that's really the most important thing. Where like Tatum just possession after possession after possession, like where the lead is starting to bleed a little more and a little more. He just consistently like, all right, I got Jalen Brunson on me. Like I'm almost a foot taller than him, maybe legitimately a foot taller than him, and you're gonna take like a step back three, and then like the next possession a step back three, over and over and over and over again. When like Jalen Brunson is not like he's playing you off like 5 feet, like he's asking you to shoot that shot because he's praying that you do not just get a full head of steam and just dunk over him, which you very well could.
We saw Tatum at the end of game two, literally the play before Brunson shot his 2 free throws.
Hmm.
He takes the ball full court and
Yep.
just
Yeah.
beeline
Yeah.
straight for the hoop and
Within like five
flies past
seconds
everyone
and
and
just
dunks it
yeah,
from like the
yeah.
free throw line. And I was like, oh, no, he did it. He did it. He took the
Yeah.
ball to the hoop. And then and then Brunson makes the 2 free throws and Tatum CTE kicks back in on the very next play. He can barely dribble past Mitchell Robinson, and then he
Oh
takes the
my
worst shot
man.
ever, and they
Yeah.
lose the game. And it's moments like that where you're like, that Tatum right there, the guy who's beelining for the rim,
Hmm.
using his frame, using his the speed advantage he has over these big guys
Yeah.
that are guarding him.
He's got a speed
It's
advantage
a free
almost
basket.
over almost everybody like in the league. Like he's an athletic
Yeah, like
like
his
phenomenon, and
yeah.
he refuses to use it. He could back down almost any person in the league. He can hit shots over any person in the league, but like he just I mean consistently will not hit the shots. Like he's very inconsistent with his shot making, but he refuses to use his size to his advantage, which is just so infuriating because throughout his career and in this series and last series he was decent, but he had like a one or two bad games. And last year too when he had a bad run, he was defending centers a lot. Like his defense, he's a really really good defender, like one of the best in the league. He's
Yeah.
like consistently an elite interior defender, and he's a fantastic rebounder. And so both of those things like I feel like people don't highlight enough because he really is. No matter if he's having a bad or good shooting game, his rebounding and his defense will be one of the best in that game, if not the best. But like his shot making is just so horrible for a guy who's supposed to be top five in the league, top four MVP every year, whatever, whatever. That like I don't like you can't be Josh Hart. Like I don't care about your rebounding and your defense at this point because like you're supposed to be putting up 30 points per game, and when you put up 15 and then you lose, like you could have had 38 rebounds and like the best defense of all time, but like I don't care. You need to be able to score and stop taking these boneheaded shots over and over again. Yeah, that was just it. Like I have no dog in the fight at all. I don't care who wins this series. I just, that's how I feel about all of the series outside of the Thunder one. I just want to see good basketball and Tatum taking those shots over and over again. I was like literally yelling at this TV, just like, "What are you doing, man?" Like it was just annoying to
And
see.
it's so obvious when when it starts happening that the Celtics are going to lose.
Yeah.
Like they're up 20, but the lead is gone like that
Hmm.
because
Within 5 minutes, they're
their
losing.
their mistakes just compound on each other
Hmm.
over and over. Possession after possession, we're 8 seconds into the shot clock taking a terrible shot,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
pull up
the
threes within
Celtics
6 seconds
are
of the shot clock, like within 2 seconds of getting past half court. It's just like you're up by 20 and you're rushing. Like, what are you doing? You didn't.
and the
There were
Knicks.
like 10. Sorry, like I. This is not to interrupt you there, but like the last thing that I want to say before you can go on your rant is that like I don't know how many possessions it was in a row. I think I got to like six or something, or there's like five in my head. I was counting it until I just lost count in the fourth quarter in a row where they did not pass the ball. They just straight up one dude brings up the ball and he takes the shot. And if you're the Knicks, like what am I supposed to do on defense for that? Like it's the easiest thing to game plan for. If I know that the guy who has the ball is not going to shoot and instead is going to take like a step back 3-pointer every single possession, whether it's Tatum or Jaylen Brown, they were both doing it, and they were just taking horrible shots every possession. It was unbelievable.
The Knicks just get better shots. Jalen Brunson's
Hmm.
by far the best fourth quarter player in this series, which is pretty much going to be the case for any series that the Knicks are in ever.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why I want to see a Pacers Knicks series so bad, man. The Halliburton Jalen Brunson
yeah,
fourth quarter would be so fun.
that would be exciting. Um, Brunson is just like he's going to get a high quality look, which was what made it so surprising in Game One when he missed that floater.
Hmm.
I thought that's like his shot, and it was wide open, and he
Hmm.
just missed it. And after that, you're kind of like, oh man, that's like their chance. They're going to end up losing this game after all that. And of course, Tatum and Jalen Brown love losing, but
Yeah.
the the Knicks just get better shots. The Knicks just have a more reliable player, um, and that's shown through the first two games. In Game three, obviously, it didn't really matter what the Knicks did, but
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see if there's another close game how the Celtics approach that, because the Celtics kind of play when the game is getting close, like somebody on 2K who's trying to spam the same player and score like 60 points with him.
Hmm.
And the only issue is that Jason Tatum doesn't know how to time his jumper.
Yeah.
Um, I would really like to see some of what got them a championship last year, where the ball is just constantly zipping around the 3-point line and they're
Mm.
getting good looks every play. And a lot of it's going to be predicated on if Porzingis can get back and healthy, because him in the post, he's one of the more efficient post players in the league. They can run a lot of offense through him, put
Yeah.
the defense in rotation when he's got the ball.
What he adds to the Celtics offense is so huge. Like his ability to, I mean, Al Horford's a decent shooter, but Kristaps is one of the best shooters, big men shooters in the league, and that really changes
Yeah.
the whole landscape of this offense. Um, they really are missing Kristaps a lot here, and it's showing. He's such a good defender. Like they're really missing that interior presence.
hmm And I see a lot of people say that they don't like Kristaps because apparently his like net rating isn't as good as the rest of the team or
Of
whatever.
course.
But honestly, you can see his impact when he's out on the floor. They run a very efficient five out. He's a very efficient post player. He's not quite the same rim protector he was probably a couple years ago, but he's still a very positive rim protector just out of
Mm.
pure size. And
Yeah.
he's got like
Length. Yeah.
good enough technique and IQ in the paint to where he's a really good rim protector. You don't get as much of that with Al Horford,
Hmm.
so they do really need him back, whatever he's dealing with. But yeah, I think I've said that all I can say about this series. It'll just be interesting to see what happens in Game Four if it's close again. How the Celtics approach it, because I really just think they haven't. I think it's a lot of it could be on Missoula too. He's got
Honestly,
to get on his guys.
Missoula's gotten outcoached in this series, which is
Yeah, shocking.
so shocking. Like just I don't even know what really to say about it. It feels like they played a lot of Missoula ball this game, like this series, where they just, like I said, like the guys no passes putting up a three, or the quick shots, like forced 3-pointers. It just feels like they're like, you don't, when people say like live or die by the three, like you don't literally have to die by the three when it's not falling, and then you have the size. Like you don't have to keep shooting them. You can drive to the basket, get a midi, whatever, like get a few easier buckets, and then start hitting those threes again or start trying them. But like the Celtics just refuse to stop, and that's why they lost those first two games. I do want to get into the third game a little bit more, because they that was the first game they ended up winning.
Played very well that game.
Uh, yeah. So game three, and also last thing, I do want to highlight Cat, because he's been able to defend against Al Horford pretty well. The size has not like deterred him at all. He's able to get rebounds really solidly, and he's been a real presence in the interior, which typically is not the case for him. And Mitchell Robinson defensively has been just fantastic this series. He's been I guess I'll get into that right now. So Mitchell Robinson defensively, awesome. He's like been a plus player every game. Even in the loss, he was a plus player. He's been great. Uh, Offensively, just been terrible. He needs to be a better free throw shooter. so bad because
Nothing more
the Knicks are
annoying than a
going to
bad
lose
free
this
throw
series.
shooter.
What do you say?
Nothing more annoying than someone who just can't shoot free throws. It's so
Yeah.
easy to play him off the court.
The Knicks are going to lose this series, almost not purely, but largely because Mitchell Robinson cannot hit a free throw. The Celtics are going with the hack a Mitch, hack a Shaq type of strategy here. Um, in Game Three, Mitchell Robinson was 4 for 12 from free throws. So far in this series, he's been 7 for 28, which is 25%. He currently has the worst free throw percentage we've ever seen in a single postseason, minimum 25 attempts. It's just unbelievable how bad of a free throw shooter he is because, like, there's I feel like I see a new clip of him every offseason, like hitting pull up threes and stuff like that. Like he's practicing his 3 point shot and he's like a clearly elite shooter in these pickup games. But then in the NBA, he can't even make anything outside of a dunk. It feels like most of the time. Um, his free like they just keep fouling him over and over again. And if I'm the Celtics, I would do it as much as possible. It feels like sometimes they foul him too early. Like they fouled him too early in game two, where like the second he touched the ball in
Yeah.
an inbound, they fouled him. Like you don't have to do that always. Um, but yeah, it's embarrassing. Make your free throws, man. It's just embarrassing. In game three, the Celtics shot 48, 50, 88, 15 for 17 free throws. It feels like should be higher than 88%, but I guess fair enough. They yeah, like I said, 8 blocks. That was a big Peyton Pritchard game. He played 35 minutes. He had five threes, 24 points off the bench. Tatum, his shot started to fall a little bit. Like I said, he was 8 for 20. He had five threes though, so like that was big for him to get that confidence back. And you could see when he hit the first one, like it felt like a weight was lifted off his shoulders. Like you could really see it. That this was like finally, yeah, I think it was the first quarter he hit the three, and it was just like maybe this could be a game for him, and it kind of was a little bit. Um, they just they just needed like the win. This was a game seven for them because you can't go down 3-0. This was just a game that like it felt obvious that they were gonna win because like I said, this team is just too good to go down 3-0. No matter like regardless of how much they've struggled or whatever, they're just too good to lose this to get swept or anything like that.
Yeah, I do think the Celtics will still win the series.
Hmm.
Honestly, I'm tempted to say they're going to win it in 6 games. But at this point, it's just
It feels so
like they're
tough to say
so
like a reverse
clearly
sweep
better than
is
them.
just like
Yeah, but we've seen it before when teams are just clearly better,
and the
and I feel
Celtics
like
have
this
done it
is one of those
before. They did it to the
scenarios.
Bulls back in like 2017 or something like that.
Hmm. I just feel like I don't know. They're just so clearly better. Their shot quality, like you said, has been good all series. They're just
Hmm.
not making them.
Yeah.
I think they will start to make them. And I don't know. I just have as bad as Tatum and Jalen Brown, even Derek White have been
Hmm.
shooting the ball.
Yeah.
I just have faith that at some point they have to lock in and start making their shots. I do think I'd take the Celtics in six.
Hmm.
Um,
Derek White
I
was
just
really good
don't
in
see
game
the
three
Knicks
though.
getting
We'll say
another
that.
game. Derek White did
Um,
play good in game three.
and I do want to point out that it's not a coincidence that Sam Hauser misses game three and then they win. He's been horrible, just awful in this
Ugh.
series. He's been awful in the playoffs. He was terrible last round, terrible this round. It's
He's
interesting
just
because
not good.
like yeah, he's just not that good. Like he's just that's what it is. Um, yeah, that's outside of
Just
that.
not good.
Oh, I did have one more question that I wrote down for this. So the first two games that we saw from Boston, how much do like you have them winning in six or seven here? How much does those two games worry you for a potential Cleveland series? Because if it's Pacers, in my opinion, the Pacers Celtics, we saw it last year, they swept them. It was a really, really close sweep though. Like every game was down to the wire. Um, and like we said last time, like they should have won one or two of those games. Um,
They definitely should have won game one.
yes, like I still feel like I would take the Celtics against the Pacers. I feel pretty confident in that, um, regardless of those two first games. But against the Cavs, how much does those two games of horrible shooting and general bad playing worry you?
I think it's a lot different this year, honestly. I don't know if I'd take the Celtics at this point. it's weird because they have just been so uncharacteristically bad, and I
Hmm.
think when they're playing like the normal Celtics, they would still beat the Cavs. That had
I agree.
more to do with the Cavs than the Celtics just being outright better than them. I think Darius Garland just doesn't play well when he plays the Celtics. It's kind of a weird matchup for him.
Hmm. They just guard him
Um,
really well.
yeah, they guard Garland really well, and at this point, it might be a partially a mental thing with him where he just
Hmm.
doesn't shoot well against the Celtics.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he can have a better series if that ends up happening, which I do think we still will get that series. Donovan Mitchell is going to get what he wants against pretty much anybody. He's proven that against the Celtics already. He played really well against them last year. Mobley is a lot better this year than he was last year, which I think could be a big difference for them.
Hmm.
I think he's a much better floor spacer than he was last year.
Yeah, and
He's a
they
better
finally
playmaker
have,
than he was last year.
and like he's a guy who could go for 30 in any game, and they didn't have that last year where Garland was having a
Yeah,
bad series, and like Donovan, it was really on Donovan Mitchell to just put up like 45 points or we're gonna lose, and he could put up 45 and they would still lose. But with Evan Mobley's jump on offense this season, and like I trust him even if Garland has a bad series. I trust Mobley to consistently have good games, um, and he played the Celtics well this season. And so like with the Celtics' shaky offense, I think right now it's really tough to say, but I think I I think I would lead Cleveland in like seven. I like I don't know who I'm rooting for in the East because I think Knicks or Pacers winning the series would be really exciting. But for the best basketball, Cavs Celtics is what we've been wanting all season long, and like I
yeah.
feel like that would just it would just like cap off the East very well this season. But Pacers or Knicks, I hope Knicks don't make the finals purely because whoever comes out of the West should just smack them. Like I think the Nuggets.
But at that point, I mean, if the
Mhm.
Knicks get to the finals, they've proven that that they might just
Yeah,
be
that
better
is
than we think they
fair.
are.
That is fair.
But I just can't see it. Like their team just to
Hmm.
me just doesn't strike me as like they're good and that's it.
Yeah, like
Like a slightly
they're a
above good
team.
team.
They're a team like kind of like the Pacers last year, where it's like they're a good team to be eliminated in the second round or get an upset, make the conference finals, and then lose. Like it's just
Yeah,
they're not a finals team. And I'm speaking on like what I said. Like I would have whoever coming out of the West. That's me speaking on the Knicks currently, not based on what we're gonna see. For them to make the finals, they'd have to beat the Pacers slash Cavs and win two more against the Celtics. So maybe that shows us something in those six wins that really makes us more confident on them. But like they're just not that level of team. And even the Pacers too. I wouldn't think like I would feel decently confident in the West team. I'm not counting the Warriors. Like it's the three other West teams that are finals contenders, beating the Pacers. But Cavs or Celtics, like it's a real toss up, and I think there's a really good chance that the Cavs end up winning the finals this year.
yeah, I agree. It feels weird how must win it feels for the teams that are up 2-1 right now outside of the Timberwolves and maybe
Hmm.
the Nuggets because I feel like the Nuggets have proven that they're kind of on the Thunder's level so far this series.
Yeah,
But
I think Game Four is droppable for the Nuggets, but like
yeah,
like
like the
yeah.
Pacers and the Knicks, it just feels like you have to win this game. You have to put these teams away because it
Yeah,
just feels like, especially in
you
the Knicks
can't go up
Celtics series.
2-0 on the road and steal both and then lose both at home. Like that's just
Yeah,
that's
it's
completely
demoralizing.
inexcusable. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially like there's
and
no LeBron did it when he was in 2018, but like there is no you're not going up against like any peak Currys or peak LeBrons or anything like that. Like no shade to Donovan Mitchell or current Jason Tatum, but like it's like those guys are not the all-time greats that other previous greats have done that. And so like
yeah,
it's there's no excuse to go down 0-2 at home after stealing two away.
yeah, and that it just yeah. Um, more so with the Knicks than the Pacers because I feel like the Pacers have also proven that they're kind of like not on the Cavs level. It still feels like the Cavs are the better team.
Hmm.
They just haven't played up to their standard and they've been hurt.
Yeah.
But with the Knicks and the Celtics, it feels like the Celtics have handed the Knicks two games,
Yeah.
and the
That's
Knicks
fair.
like this is the best chance this Knicks team will have to get this far with the roster they have because they're very limited, like we've talked about before, in terms of roster construction going forward.
Hmm.
just because of all the contracts on their team and how they've kind of went all in on this roster. They've gotten these two God-gifted wins from the Celtics.
Yeah.
You have this is an absolute must-win for the Knicks in Game 4. You go up 3-1. You have three chances to put the Celtics away,
Is it more must
and
win for the Knicks or the Celtics?
dude, I think it's more must-win for the Knicks because I think if the Celtics lose this game, I
Mm. So you trust the
how do I
Celtics
word
more to
this?
come back 3-1 than you trust the Knicks to win up or tied 2-2?
I do, I do,
I
because
don't think
I
that's
just
that
think
crazy
there's
to
like
say. Because if the
I
Celtics
think the
win game
Celtics
four, like,
maybe this feels
yeah.
like just blatant dick riding, but
Mm.
I just feel like the Celtics are so much better than
The
the
Knicks.
Knicks.
Yeah, I get it. And plus, like,
It's,
if for them, the way that they won game three, which showed, like, from straight up bad shot making to decent slash good shot making in game three for them, like, for them to win game four, I'm assuming that they continue the trend of good to even maybe great shot making. And if they win game four, let's say 15-point win or 10-point win, whatever, and like they're hitting their shots really well, because when the Celtics hit their shot, they're going to win by 10 or 15. Whereas if the Knicks are hitting their shots, they might win by 2 or 3, like we saw. And so like they need the Celtics to shoot bad and then win a close game. It's like the Nuggets. Like the Nuggets need the Thunder to miss their shots and then they're gonna win in a close comeback in fourth quarter overtime. They're not gonna win. The Nuggets will not win a single game this series up 15, 20 points because that's not the Thunder
yeah,
don't get blown out, and that's the way that the Cavs are. That's the way that the Celtics are too.
yeah. And the thing about the Celtics is like they had two of the worst games we've seen this roster, probably the two worst games we've seen this roster
Yeah,
play in the last two seasons,
yeah,
and they barely lost both games. They were up 20 in both games despite playing that poorly. To me, that just screams the Knicks aren't like close to the Celtics caliber of team.
mm-hmm.
And all the Celtics have to do is play like average Celtics basketball to win, not just not just win the series. They won't lose another game if they just play average Celtics basketball for the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I do think the Knicks, it's the most must win out of all the game fours. Um, Pacers would definitely like to win game four because I feel like if you let the Cavs go home tied, you're probably screwed now that they're healthy. Um, the Nuggets, like I said, I think that series is probably going seven no matter what. But yeah, it's definitely a must win for the Knicks in my opinion.
So, is there any series you think, or okay, so how many series you have ending in 7 versus 6? Because I think I would have, I think I'm
I have
taking
2-7,
2 and 7.
one and
You
six.
said there's 4 series.
Well, I have one going five.
Oh yeah, yeah, my bad, my bad. Yeah, I agree. I have Timberwolves 5. I'm taking Thunder in 7, but I really don't feel confident in it. Um, and then I'll take, jeez, man, I think I'll take the Cavs. I think. Just like I
I think I
really wouldn't
got
be
yeah.
I would not be that surprised if the Pacers win tonight because I feel like they are slept on for sure. But I think I would lean on the Cavs, hoping Ty Jerome or DeAndre Hunter can be better. But because I think that's gonna be big for them to win this series. Like they need one of those two bench six man of the year candidates to be a six man of the year candidate, especially if they're gonna go up against Peyton Pritchard next season or next series. Um, but yeah, I think I'll take Cavs in 7, and then I bet I took a parlay a couple days ago of Knicks Timberwolves, um, and honestly, I'll take the Knicks in 7.
You got the Knicks, really?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take the Knicks. I just have a feeling. I mean, I'm not confident in it at all. It's more so me taking the underdog to seem super smart when I'm right. Um, but like I don't trust Tatum that much, honestly. Like unless
Oh,
tomorrow
I
he
agree with
shows
that.
like unless he goes crazy, and then that'll make me think like maybe like kind of how he was in the Magic series game one. He was not that good shooting wise, and then like he had a good game, and then he just kept having good games after that. Like he kind of just like rides the hot hand a little bit. He's up and down, and so when he's hot, he doesn't
That's
really
kind of how
like
he's always been.
yeah. And so like if he has a good game, I expect the rest of the series he's gonna keep putting up 30, 35, whatever. But if he has a bad game four, like it's gonna tell me that this is just not his series. And if Tatum's having a bad series, Jaylen Brown's probably gonna also have a bad series because they're gonna guard him more tightly. And if that's the case, I think the Knicks could steal another 1 or 2 games in some clutch scenarios.
I'm actually very confident in how three of the series are going to go. I'm very confident the Timberwolves are going to win.
Mhm.
Even if the Warriors somehow manage to get another game, I'm very confident that the Timberwolves will win in 6 or less games. I'm very
Yeah.
confident that the Celtics are going to win. Not as confident that they'll reverse sweep, but I'm very confident that they'll win the series. And I'm also very confident that the Cavs are going to win the series, as good as the Pacers are. I just think now that they're healthy, I think they're just the better team.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of
Uh,
have an answer for like it felt like in game 3 they just kind of had an answer for everything. Every time the Pacers
yeah.
they would go on a 20 like they would be up 20 and then the Pacers would cut it down to 10 and then like the Cavs would just put back in Donovan Mitchell and they'd go back up 20 again. Like it's just they consistently just can kind of thwart whatever the Pacers have going on.
One series I'm not super confident in is the Thunder in 7. I'm still fairly confident that they'll win the series. The issue
You think there's
is
a chance
like
they win at 6?
probably not. No,
Yeah, I would
because
be
there's
surprised.
just there's no like it just feels like how are they going to win a close game against Denver if they execute like they did down the stretch last game? They would need a completely different approach, which could happen.
Yeah, but it's just
But
like you said, like literally
it feels like
completely different. Like they scored 2 points in
yeah,
overtime.
like
Two
polar
points.
opposite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like yeah, it's they need to show something 100% different than they did already.
and yeah, you can't. You're not just going to blow the Nuggets out 4 times, which it's starting to feel like they might have to do that 4 times to win the series. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm probably the least confident in that one out of all of them. But the other three, I'm fairly confident that the Cavs, Timberwolves, and Celtics will make it out in the amount of games that I said. Um, but I would the Thunder Nuggets series is the one I'll have my eye on the most. I'm very excited to see what happens today. I think probably the 2 games I'm most excited for out of the game fours are today. So
agreed.
uh, it'll be super exciting to see what happens. And it's just been a crazy semifinal round so far.
Yeah,
Three best teams in the league
this
down to
playoffs,
one.
man, it's been one of the best. Like honestly, this NBA
Adam
season has
Silver.
been fantastic. Like the regular season was one of my favorite in that I've ever seen. I watched like some of the most basketball I've ever watched this year, but not only just that, like the basketball was really fun, and then this postseason has just 100% continued on. I said it was going to be like one of the best postseasons in a while, but this has been one of the best postseasons ever. It's just like
Yeah.
crazy upsets, the most insane comebacks that we've ever seen. Two of them by the
Hmm.
Pacers, like in one postseason, and there's plenty of other stuff that have happened too, buzzer beaters, and like Jalen Brunson having one of the best Knicks shots of all time. The Halliburton
Yep.
step back and him hitting the Sam Cassell like big nut celebration on the Knicks was I wanted him to do the Reggie Miller choke. I thought would have been a good celebration there. Um, but yeah, it's been an elite playoffs. But we covered all 4 series. Is there anything else that you wanted to point out or to comment on or anything?
Just a round of applause for Adam Silver. Great regular season, insane trade deadline,
Yep.
insane playoffs, insane award races.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, he was in his bag this year.
what a
Yep.
performance from Adam Silver this year. We are taking Roger Goodell by the throat. We are taking the lead. But yeah, it's been amazing. I've had so much fun watching the playoffs this year, which I can't say about the prior seasons. It wasn't as exciting to watch.
Hmm. Yeah, it again like
But
it's the Steph injury. Like the last thing I want to say is just the Steph injury really sucks so much because
it sucks. Yeah.
if he doesn't get hurt, there's not a single semifinals round series that like you're not eyes glued to the TV for. Now,
Yep.
T Wolves Warriors, I'm kind of like watching on the second screen type of series, like whereas the other ones
Yeah.
I'm locked in from start to finish.
Mm.
But like last round too, there were most of the games I was very like closely interested in, and even when like the Lakers were down 3-1, like I'm still very interested in that series to see like what they were gonna do. Um, yeah, it's just been an awesome postseason. Hopefully Shea can win his MVP sometime soon here. Because surprised they still haven't announced that. I don't feel like it's usually by now. Maybe Game 5 they'll announce it or
Or they'll
something.
or they'll just announce it's Jokic.
No, I don't think they will. That wouldn't be very cool.
He'll probably
Uh,
wait till game 5 in front of the crowd,
that's what I'm assuming.
but
Which,
it'd be kind of awkward. They have to win this game if
oh
they're going
my
to
God,
announce an
can you imagine
MVP
we
next
lose
game.
today and then they're like, Thunder down 3-1, here's Shea, your MVP, and then the Nuggets just like stomp us by 20. Oh my goodness. That would be
Be the
terrible.
most be the most depressing MVP ever.
Dude, everyone would just say
And
like
then,
Jokic deserved it and stuff. Like,
dude, that's why I need the Thunder to win the series because Instagram comments piss me off more than they should.
mhm. Yeah, I
Like
try not
people just have
to
to shut
read
up.
the.
Like Jokic and Shea have been equally terrible this series. They both
Oh
had
yeah,
one insane game and two terrible ones.
yeah.
Um,
I'm expecting a big Shea game today. I really
I hope so. I hope so.
I'm expecting like 40 points type like big performance because he needs it. I mean, Chet really carried him in that first quarter in Game 3, and like J Dub carried them basically everywhere else. Shea had an awesome third, but like they just yeah they really need Shea to step up big here. He needs to play like the MVP he is, and I mean same with Jokic. If whoever wants to win the series, like he's gotten elite Aaron Gordon performances in 3 games, and that's
Yeah.
not something you can count on.
You know,
I mean, I guess
it's
maybe
funny
you
how
can,
the
but
it's
yeah,
funny how the narratives have flipped for these two MVPs. The narrative was kind of Shea, uh, or the narrative was kind of that Jokic kind of carries his team, and
mm-hmm.
it feels like it's kind of been the other way around so far. And there was this narrative going into the playoffs that the Thunder didn't have a second option,
Mm-hmm.
and Shea has felt like the second option through the first 3 games. It feels like
Damn,
there's other people stepping up for the Thunder all around.
yeah,
I honestly I don't know how much confidence I have in J Dub to play like that again.
I don't.
Um,
I mean, I expect
I
him to
don't think
like,
he'll have like a game 1 level bad game again, but I don't think he'll have that good of a game again.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think it's gonna be like somewhere in the middle, like Game 2, where he was like fine in, but he wasn't the best or worst player on the court. Game 1 he was
Yeah.
awful, and Game 3 obviously he was fantastic. I think he's just like a fine playoff player that is gonna rise in certain scenarios and have bad games. Like it's also a Game 1 in a scenario in a series he's never faced his team before. Like it's he didn't have a great game. It's fine. It happens.
Yeah.
Man, I'm nervous for this game, dude. Jeez,
Yeah. The
3:30
thing
is
about the
disgusting.
Thunder is you look at this series and it'd be so easy for them to be up 3-0 right now, which sucks. And
Dude, the
it's
Aaron
just
Gordon
such
buzzer beater.
simple
Oh
things
my
on the court.
goodness. I just
It was
that's
so obvious that was going into.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Like and Chet
And for
like barely contested it too. Like, oh my goodness, I'm never gonna
a brief
unlive
moment
that
in
shot.
time,
Hmm.
I saw Westbrook coming down the court with the ball. I was like, he's gonna dribble this into the rim and throw it
Yes,
off the backboard
yes, yes.
and just
That's what I
miss
thought.
the game.
That's what I thought, dude. He was full sprint down the court. I was like, please, Russ, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it, and then he passed it. I was like, no, no, no. Yeah,
I
jeez.
mean, a Russ game winner in OKC would have been chills, but
I would have preferred
I
that
I
than
stayed away from
honestly.
there.
I would have hated either, but like a Russ game winner, I would have. I don't even know how I would have reacted to that because like I don't know if I'm happy or sad or what, but it would have been better than the Aaron
Well,
Gordon one for sure.
oh yeah. Here's what this isn't as heartbreaking in my opinion as what PJ Washington was doing last year because at least Aaron Gordon's like normally shooting this well.
I was thinking about that, especially in the fourth quarter three that sent it to overtime in Game 3. And I did want to mention this earlier, so I'm glad you brought it up. The PJ Washington stuff last year. So our game plan was just like leave like that was our game plan all season long. Was just like leaving the corner three open. We were the worst. Like we allowed the most corner threes in the league, I think. But or like I think it was the best percentage, but not necessarily the most because we were typically really good on closing out of them, and so they weren't shot that often. But when they were always open because we left them open, and it was like Shea just jumping out over there over and over again. And that's happening again this series. Aaron Gordon's just left open in the corner consistently. MPJ's open left in the corner. Russ is always left in the corner, which I'm fine with. But like Russ is hitting those shots a bit. MPJ is starting to hit them a bit. And Aaron Gordon, I mean, he's a 40+% shooter. What are you doing leaving him open? He should be as closely guarded
Yeah,
when
like,
he's at
well,
the 3 point line as Jamal Murray is, as Jokic is. Like he's just as lethal as they are, if not more. And oh my God, man, I just it him getting that open shot, I knew the second I saw him on the screen, it was just like before we even had the ball, I was like, oh my God, he just hit a three
so,
because it was just like, what are you doing in the clutch? You're leaving the probably the best shooter on the court open. It's just that was inexcusable, and it really like all I got was a flashback to the PJ Washington stuff. Um, but yeah, hopefully they can. I honestly I don't expect them to figure it out to not do that anymore because all last postseason they did it and all this postseason they've done it. They kind of just live or die by like the corner three being open, and
which is a terrible idea. It's
yeah
like the
it's
most one of the that's the most efficient shot on the court.
yeah it's super annoying. I've never liked that they do it. Like it when it works, it's awesome because you just keep like you keep switching and you keep rotating and you keep like having guys jump out to the three. But when you have a guy like Aaron Gordon who has no hesitation in his three, like I said earlier, and it's just like knocking them down, you can't leave him open. Like why? Like don't like bleed off of him at all. Just stay on him. Yeah, annoying stuff. But anything else you wanted to hit on from this postseason from the second round so far?
That's it. That's it.
Alrighty. Well, I'll be back. You probably be back in like a week or so. You want to join back on?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll be back to recap the second half of the second round. Probably we'll have 3 or 4 games in each round, maybe one or two, or it's probably either two in the Timberwolves case, but likely 3 or 4 games in all the other series to talk about. Um, but yeah, and a solid 2 hour 15 episode. Anything you wanted to shout out your Twitter page or share anything?
Chase Brostek is my first last name.
Yes, sir. Alrighty. Well, Ball Knower podcast episode, whatever we're on at this point, I have lost count. That's all. Signing off. See you around.